Hi, guys, and welcome back to the 37th episode of the Couch on Ice podcast. Before we get into our Pacific Division review, Central Division review, we did Pacific last week. Let's introduce the boys. Jordan, how's it going down in Moose Jaw?
Oh, not too bad, buddy. How about you?
Oh, not too bad. Nice and hot out today. Can't complain. Spend the last little bits of it being nice outside when I can.
It's
but
actually kind of cool here today. I'm surprised.
It's
It's
a little windy,
like a
but the
high of
sun's out.
like 19, whereas the rest of the week, excluding tomorrow, is like 28, 25. So
Oh, is this gonna be that hot? Sweet, because I'm coming into Moose Jaw. So.
yeah, apparently this next upcoming week is supposed to be real nice. All 20s.
Good. I like to see that right before it
Mhm.
freezes
Nice.
our balls
That's
off.
what you need.
Yeah, exactly. Right before it drops to negative fucking 10.
But the upside of it being dropped that low, we know it's hockey season then. So so close.
Yeah.
But the other host, Chase, how's it going there in Saskatoon?
Oh, not too bad.
Not
All
too
good.
bad.
You know,
Just all
another day,
chill.
another dollar.
Another day, another dollar. That's right.
Flipping the grind.
Yeah.
Well, should we get straight into some big signings that happened this week?
Yeah, some nice ones happened.
Perfect.
We can kick it off with the Oilers. They got a really good signing here. They signed Kailer Yamamoto to a 1 year at $1 million, 1.75 thousand AAV.
Yeah, that's a good deal. What, Chase? What
Yeah.
did you have him at? You had him at like 2 years, 2.5, 2.
Yeah.
2.25?
Yeah, I'm at like 2.25
Yeah.
or something like that, 2.5 or whatever that
So
was.
yeah,
like,
it's
for a couple
equivalent,
years.
same right.
Yeah, hey, and like that's pretty nice to get him. I don't like that he got him for 1 year, but whatever. I guess like
Yeah,
at least it's a
exactly.
good contract for the year, but like if he breaks out this season, he's gonna want bank.
And I
Yeah.
think they're kind of trying to see too. There's a lot of competition for that top 6 in Edmonton, and
Yeah,
he's got to
for sure.
fight for his position there. I think he's pretty well got a shoe-in chance of playing in that top 6, but he's got to battle
but
for
it ain't for
and-
sure. Hey,
Exactly.
Yeah,
So this is a big year for Yamamoto. He can get paid next year if he starts producing more. So I like it.
Yeah, no, it's awesome for the whole year. Exactly.
For the whole
what you're
year, this
saying.
is
Prove it,
fantastic.
like this is.
It's
You know,
just
like,
might
you
cost
might get the
some.
most out of them.
Yeah,
you know?
might cost you extra money next year. Might be the issue. So I guess we'll
Yeah.
see. This is a wait and see contract as well, but
If it
zero
makes him play
risk.
better, then hell yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. For sure. I think it's fine. I think we can just move on from that. It's pretty standard.
So next we've got Big Z, Zdeno Chara. He is taking another year season. He is still playing.
That's crazy.
He is going to one of the older teams in the league now to be with his retirement home buddies. Now that Washington is
Yeah,
a little
going
younger,
back to the
he's
roots.
headed to the Islanders.
Yeah, I got a fun fact about this man. The last time
Little-
Zdeno Chara played for the New York Islanders was the same year Matt Barzal was born. That's how long
That's
Chara's been in the league.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, no, that's awesome.
to talk about Big Z, this is a perfect fit. They
Yeah.
don't play a fast game. They like to play tight, and Zdeno Chara is better in tight defensively. All he's got to do is be strong in front of the net, clear the net for Varlamov and Sorokin, and chip the puck along the boards. That's his role for this
Yeah.
team. We knew they were going to make a
it more
signing.
shots.
Yeah, and I'm sure he'll be. I wouldn't be surprised if he's on the power play a little bit with Nick Leddy gone. Just with how big his shot is, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets some minutes.
Mhm.
But it makes the most sense. Since they didn't get Suter, this is the best you can replace him with, I guess.
Yeah,
So I mean, I don't know the money. I don't think it's been.
I don't
announced.
either.
The Island,
All I
Lou-
know is so
fucking
much here.
Lou, man. Well, he
Yeah.
just doesn't give
Yeah,
information
yeah,
ever.
Right
it's
to the-
like not even out. Hey.
Like, it'll be like an hour before their opening game, and he'll finally announce how much they're actually making against the cap.
Mhm.
I swear, he just holds information for so long.
It's
But
just gonna be something simple like a league.
it'll
game.
be league min more than likely.
Right, like-
Yeah, he signed
So-
like
Or
5
maybe
guys
he's
to
getting
league
the
men deals.
Branson deal.
Yeah, it's if it's more if it's more than league min, I'm a little more worried. But at the same time, he's playing in the right system.
Yeah, if it's under $1 million, you're fine.
Yeah.
League min would be ideal, but under $1 million is fine. Anything more than that, and it's like, okay, this is a little worrying.
Well, he's 44. How much money do you really fucking need? Like,
well, exactly,
he's
and not to mention how much ice time is he gonna get at 44?
Probably Mike Green's minutes. Like,
exactly, and not when it was good Mike Green.
Yeah, like the Islanders Mike Green's, not Mike Green, Andy Green. That's what I meant, not Mike.
Yeah, Andy Green. Yeah, he's still there.
He's still there, but I don't know. It's a good signing though. It's very good for the right team. Right player went to the right team, which is fine. Yeah, I heard he was going to Florida. Florida went and pushed pretty hard for him, which would have been bad, but
yeah, really not much of a fit. We got better time or better chance of ice time here.
Yes,
if they don't acquire a defenseman, which
absolutely. Which, I mean, I guess we'll wait and see and talk about that.
Yeah.
We'll move on from that.
Next, we have Vegas. They have signed Nolan Patrick, who they obviously recently acquired. 2 years at $1.2 million.
Yeah, I misread this when I first did, and I just noticed it now that I thought the cap hit was 2.4, and that's the total. This is a fantastic deal.
Yeah.
Like fantastic.
Yeah,
zero risk in this contract. Because if he sucks and he is genuinely that bad, bury it and it's gone. Or trade it. It's Vegas. Yeah, exactly. Like they'll just trade
anyone.
him.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone can work with $1 million cap space.
And he's 22, so
with a huge upside, right?
Like the only worry you have with Nolan Patrick is his health, and I pray he's back healthy because I'd love to see this guy play up to his potential.
Yeah, exactly. So
he looks super good. Yeah, I really like how he plays. It's just not enough games throughout a year, right? So I'm hoping he can stay healthy and play well in Vegas. I mean, I'd hope he'd play well in Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they are too. It cost them Cody Glass, so
yes, exactly. So I think it's the time now for Patrick to show if he's going to be healthy enough to play in the league, let alone see if he's
this
good
contract is his last now or never.
I wouldn't say now or never quite, but it's definitely now or never for top 6. I would.
That's
say.
what I mean. Though.
Yeah,
like being an
be an impact guy for sure.
Right.
So
yeah,
I guess
it's kind of odd that they did get him for 2 years.
Yeah.
Just because of all of the random and
the uncertainty,
the unsurety. Yeah, exactly. So
this is a great deal,
like, especially at 1.2. But like, if you're feeling really good about this, and he does like at least half decent and plays like at most of the time, then like games. Obviously this is a good fine deal. But yeah, it's just like that's good. Like they're entrusting in him. Like I'm just gonna sign you for 1 year because we're not sure about you. Like you can do this. So 2 years, prove us that you can.
Exactly, and I really hope he does prove it.
I'd love to see that on that team. It'd be awesome.
This is the player they need, is a healthy version of a Nolan Patrick.
Yep.
So let's see if he can actually be the health part of that. So.
Yeah, the dream we've all been dreaming.
Yeah,
that we haven't seen.
Exactly. Well, at least that all Philly was dreaming. But no, I got nothing else to say on Patrick.
Yeah,
good player.
Next, we're on to not St. Louis. Sorry, the Blues. Or the Blue Jackets. Fuck me.
Not St. Louis, the Blues.
Whichever one you feel, whichever one.
Columbus, the Blue Jackets.
Blue Jackets.
They have locked up Elvis Merzlikins. He's 5 years at $5.4 million.
Yeah, we were unsure a couple of weeks ago. Like, I wonder who the number 1 goalie is in Columbus. Well, Columbus just decided.
Yeah, now we know.
Now we know who they like the most, which is still shocking because I don't understand the hate on Korpisalo. Not saying I don't think Merzlikins could be their number 1, but
Korpisalo is for sure.
Merzlikins' ceiling,
not an easy decision.
Yes.
Yeah. Merzlikins' ceiling is just through the roof. So it's just
exactly. It is, and I don't hate this deal at all. It's a confusing deal for me. I'll put it that way, because is this team gonna be good within 5 years? Like, if you had asked us this how many years ago, like 10 years ago, are they going to be good in 5 years? I bet a lot of people would be like, well, yeah, they'll be better. They'll be better. Start going the right direction. I don't know what direction they're going anymore. It looks, on paper, it looks like they're selling everything. So,
according to Zach Werenski, he thinks they're contending, so.
Yeah, good luck in that Metro. Like I said, like I was just saying before the podcast, that this Columbus team it's not a bad team by any means. It's in an amazing division where they have no chance unless he puts up Vezina numbers, and that's why I put him as my dark horse as to win. Like, he's motivated. He got paid. He's already quite good. High ceiling, like Chase said. Yeah, I
It'd
like
be just
the deal.
mind blowing if Columbus was able to make the playoffs because of
him.
Play, yeah, like that would be just like it'd be even just in any way for them to make the playoffs would be. I just think it seems like a miracle just because of like I just don't. Sorry, it doesn't seem like you know what's gonna happen. Like you can't really predict the year. Well, for them, you could predict a good year for Lincoln's and the goaltending because they're awesome, but like. Yeah, for like everybody else, you really don't know what's gonna happen until you see it. I guess that's for sure.
And that's the problem. Like the good teams in the Metro are still gonna be good next year unless they lose everyone. Like unless people just start walking and they make some bad trades. Unless they want to be bad, the 6 teams that are already good are gonna be good. Exactly. So
no easy teams.
So that's other than that. Like Merzlikins, great goalie. I don't know if he's worth $5 million yet. Will he get there? We'll have to wait and see. I think he's got the potential to do it, but
yeah, and I mean, it's notable to say that he would have been a free agent next year, and so it's not outlandish to think somebody would have given him more money than that.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. If he has a good year,
for Columbus to lock up a guy who most importantly wants to stay in Columbus, is pretty good.
I don't love the extension. Is where I'm looking. If this was just your re-signing, I'd be like, okay, I get it. But you had a year to work with it. I'd wait and see because he's not. I mean, they think he's a guarantee, which fair enough. If they know their players better than I do. That's for sure.
They watch him every night.
Exactly. I have not seen $5 million at Merzlikins yet. I've seen him close to that in individual games, but not. Consistently $5 million. So I guess we'll wait and see with it. But it could turn into a great contract for sure. It's a wait and see contract.
Definitely. Next, we've got Buffalo. Rasmus Dahlin is getting 3 more years at $6 million AAV.
Yeah. Good deal. I'm surprised he got 6, but I'm not because Buffalo has no cap space.
Yeah, I was gonna say because where else are they spending that money now?
And that's the only reasoning why I think it's at 6 because he did not play up to a $6 million cap hit level. I know he can and will be up to that at some point. He's 21. He's fantastic. Like Dahlin is amazing. He had a great second half of the year last year when they got the new coach. I think he's gonna have a banging year this year. I really do. I think he's gonna put up 40 points on a bad Buffalo team.
I hope so,
which is otherwise really impressive.
He's just sentenced himself to 3 years in
Buffalo. But that's what you do. You sign short term until you can get to the point where you can walk in free agency if they're still that bad. If you're Dahlin. It's a bridge deal. It's just a bridge deal. He's gonna play better than $6 million by the time his contract's done, and he's probably gonna get around $9 million like the rest of the great D-men out there. So I think he'll have a good year and a good future from now on because sure as hell is nowhere to go but up in Buffalo.
Yeah, exactly. Surely they can't do any worse.
Surely can't do worse.
I guess unless they give up Jack Eichel for pennies.
Yeah, exactly. And even then, I still don't think they'll play worse. Like they were so bad last year, so bad. They looked like a junior team playing in the NHL for that stretch where they lost 18 games in a row or something, 17.
It was rough.
Yeah, it was bad. And I mean,
super bad season for him.
It was,
so what is this? Minus 36, like only 23 points in 56 games. Like he's way better than that every other year.
Yeah, exactly.
The other year.
The difference is too, like, look at the stats. If you're at home listening, like, look at and you don't believe us, look at the stats difference for when he played with Kruger to when they changed to Granato. World of difference. And he actually looks like a real defenseman out there under Don Granato. So I that's why I think he'll have a better year and a pretty decent year. Plus someone has to score on Buffalo.
Yeah.
Right? It's probably going to be Dahlin or Middlestat.
Jeff Skinner.
Yeah, or Jeff Skinner.
God, I remember that play where he had the breakaway with no stick. That just summed up their season.
Yes. Oh, God. Jeff Skinner, I forgot about that. So
fucking Jeff Skinner.
$9 million. Holy crap.
That's tough.
I guess that's who they're paying in Buffalo. Not
I guess that's who's making the big boy bucks now.
Him and Kyle Ocampozo. Still getting paid like $6 million.
They're rivaling Arizona for the worst contracts in the league.
Yeah, no kidding. Except for Arizona traded for those.
Yeah, exactly.
Buffalo gave these contracts.
Yeah, couldn't pay Dahlin any more than Opko, so they're just like,
we've got priorities around here.
Like we can't.
We only pay you if you're
$6 million right now. We're still in shock from what's happening.
We only pay you if you're gonna go downhill from after you sign this contract.
Yeah, like that Skinner contract could be the worst contract like in history.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I think
other than the DiPietro.
Yeah, DiPietro for that, but behind that, it's definitely up there.
It's up there.
It could be. If it keeps trending like this, but something's got to give. Hey, my God, that just doesn't make any sense.
But like,
a lot of people said that he wasn't getting the minutes and stuff like that. But like, I don't know.
I think he's a good player.
Get the chance, just like all these other kids that have to try to make teams. Like, how do you think people make teams? They make the most of it.
Yeah.
Well, he was on that line and he never scored too. It's just like, it's been rough.
I'm just confused on what's going on with him because he was so consistent his whole career before. What was it? Was it last season or 2 seasons ago? I guess where he started to fall off. Skinner, that I'm talking. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like because he scored 40 goals when he signed that contract. Like people still forget about that. And
got 63 points in the first year full season with Buffalo, and then
and 40 goals in
COVID,
that, right?
Since the year before COVID hit,
that
year that COVID hit or whatever.
And it's unfortunate because he's a good player, and in Carolina, he was amazing in Carolina, very consistent 20 goal scorer, about 50-60 point guy, and he's always been that way. I think it's just Buffalo. Like
it was definitely an overpayment from the start. Like,
absolutely,
way too much.
We all looked at that and we're like, okay, he's
$1 million
at least $2 million. I would say I would have given. I would have think a player like that because he scored 50. 40. I guess you give him the extra $1 million for around 7.5. But he's a 6.5 million.
Yeah, but he scored 40
season.
Goals and got 23 assists. Like, ooh, wow.
Yeah, but he also played with Jack Eichel, who had the greatest year of his career.
23, like you got half as many assists as he did goals. Like,
yeah,
they're obviously not very well rounded.
No, exactly. It's just a nightmare in Buffalo.
It's tough, but
we'll get in.
Dahlin can get him the puck and get him fucking scoring goals again.
If he can get back to 20
get
goals,
that power play going. Hey?
Yeah, if
you guys can have a good power play, kind of.
If Skinner can get back to 20 goals, this contract isn't the worst. It's still bad. Don't get me wrong, but it's manageable because at least it's not like the biggest comparison I have, in thinking, Lucic's contract looked so bad because of where he is in the lineup, right? If it's all on a contrary of where you are, and same with Louis Eriksson, who is being scratched at $6 million. If at least he's playing and scoring some goals for you, you're not paying him to literally do nothing, like other players, like DiPietro, like Louis Eriksson was. So I guess that's all you can hope for out of Skinner, is just get him 15, 20 goals a year and just wait the contract out. Sorry. Best option.
Yeah. Well, back to Dahlin.
Yeah, back to Dahlin, sorry.
Yeah, no, I really think he'll have a bounce back year. Look at his stats from 2 years ago, and I think he'll be doing that sort of stuff. But it's going to be hard to do that because they're going to be bad with
Jack Eichel and Reinhart.
Yeah, they're probably not going to have Eichel. So yeah, it's going to be.
But that power play looks good, man.
Sure, so
that power play is still going to look good.
50. Yeah, I think you're still getting 50 points out of Dahlin this year, and I think a little bit more respectable on the defensive end, because they're probably going to focus a little bit more defensively this year, knowing they're not.
I'd hope so.
Yeah.
They were pretty bad
last year. Should be the only thing they should be thinking about.
Well, I think they're thinking of, Shane Wright. We might be able to get Shane Wright and restart.
Yeah, exactly.
It's totally what Buffalo's thinking in their head.
Yeah, but just not get murdered every game.
Yeah, play respectable hockey where if you lose 4-2, whatever. If you lose 6-1, 6-0, it's like, okay, we're bad. We're bad. If you at least lose close, then at least you're competing every night. But no, Jordan, do you have anything else on Dahlin?
No, not really. I think you guys summed it up.
Yeah. Move on then.
So the next extension we have is Cal Peterson. We talked about this last time that this was coming.
Yeah, I told you it would be a $5 million. $5 million.
3 years at $5 million.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew it'd be a $5 million contract because that's what you pay. Yeah. That's what you pay 20. I say as I just ripped on Elvis a little bit. I don't know why I didn't just say that's a goalie contract. It's the same with defensemen. All defensemen, you have an average year where you're a top 4 middle kind of guy, $4 million. Always. Same with goalies.
3 or 4 years.
Yeah, typically. You're 25 to 28 as a goalie, and you're a starting goalie and look pretty decent. $5 million. Doesn't matter about the years. It's around $5 million, 4.5 to 5.5 ish. So, it's a good deal. 3 years I like the 3 years.
Me too.
It really,
old Robbie Blake deemed him starting goalie. That's for sure, hey?
Which is anyone surprised? Not really.
Not really.
He's pretty solid. He's pretty good. Hey,
pretty solid. Going to 30, that should be fine. It should be fine. He should be all right. Even at the worst sort of case scenario, it should be pretty okay.
Yeah, and you're just hoping he lives.
I think he's got a good floor for the next 3 years. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's gonna be good. I think LA is gonna do better, so he's gonna look even better. And this contract's just gonna be another goalie contract in the NHL where you're it's not a bad contract because he's your starting goalie. But there's probably gonna be better goalies in the league. So
yeah,
that's all I'll say about Pearson. He's great.
Yeah, no, I think that's a perfect way to say it.
Get in the bag.
So finally, we've got the contract that everybody has been waiting on.
I think you're skipping one quick. In the Blues, St. Louis, a little bit of RFA Robert Thomas.
Right. They re-signed Robert Thomas. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned I have it in front of me. I might as well quickly.
Yeah, you might as well.
He making $2.8 million for 2 years. Pretty well what you had him at, Chase, right? You had him at 2.5 for 2 years?
2.25 or something like that.
Yeah. I think he's worth. I'm thinking of it in comparing Yamamoto to Thomas. Thomas is definitely, if you were paying Yamamoto 2.25, I'm saying he's definitely worth more, 7 or 6 million more, or 600,000 more. Sorry, Jesus.
I had both those guys at 2.25 for 3 years. So
for 3,
they really do like Thomas.
They do. He's good. He's so good.
I really liked him, but I just didn't love how he played the last year, and I feel like I would have given him a more skeptical contract.
Right.
2.8, but I don't know. That's they obviously believe that he'll be
They didn't want him to miss camp
last year.
And they
in
didn't
the last
want
2 years.
and a lot of people, something people don't talk about with teams is missing camp is a big deal. It's a really big deal. It's getting ready for the year. You'll figure out where you're gonna play pretty early. It gives you a chance to prove you're better than the next guy,
especially for young players.
Especially for
they get a chance to show that they're worth some ice time.
And with St. Louis signing in a couple new players, you don't know where you stand being on this team. They signed Saad and Buchnevich, like no position set. Maybe he has great chemistry with one of those two, and they just light it up. So, being in camp, I think, is huge. The money, I don't think that's bad one bit. I think 2.8. I think he's gonna play at that level or better through those 2 years without question. I'm just happy he's there for camp, and I'm excited to see what he can do this year and next year. He needs to take that next step, though. He needs to keep producing, keep getting better. And this is a
reasonable contract, but that means he has to consistently.
He's got to prove why he got it. So he's got to keep trying to earn the bag. So it's a good deal.
Yeah, consistency exactly. For a lot of these.
That's what makes money in NHL.
Exactly. Hence why Jeff Skinner got $9 million. Now we can get into the last guy.
Now we're on to Kirill the Thrill. So Kaprizov is getting a giant contract from Minnesota. 5 years at $9 million.
You just had to do it. It's a W because it doesn't matter what number you gave Kaprizov, he had to stay for Minnesota to be happy. This is one of those rare situations where he was in where the team's done if he leaves. Like the team team struggle. The team, I change my answer where they place if Kirill isn't there, and I probably put them bottom 3.
Absolutely.
They would definitely be in the bottom of their division.
Yes, sorry, that's what I mean. Not in the league. I meant in their division. It's great. That's
clearly he was asking for his number. Like I was kind of predicting 9.7. It's what he wanted for sure, and they just wouldn't fucking do it. I don't think. But
Bill Guerin's a fucking ball.
Perfect amount of years. That's all 4 years of the buyouts and a whole year at that amount. Yeah. So super awesome.
Fantastic.
Super awesome.
He's gonna be
in
great,
a sense, but not really because it's $9 million. But
yeah,
we'll see how he makes that. If he can make, if they make the playoffs because of him, then like okay, you well deserve that.
Yeah, if your offense revolves around one guy, and like the difference is too is it's crazy how one player changed how the fan base looks at their own team. They used to fall asleep watching Minnesota games. Like, sure, we might win a game 1-0, but it's not going to be very entertaining because we're going to play shutdown. Kirill, every time he's on the ice, you notice it. The game changes.
That's the thing. Like, he is the most marketable player in their franchise history. Yeah. And he's 24.
Yeah. And played 56 games.
He is the next Gabrick to them. For sure,
that's crazy. I didn't even think about that. They've never had, because it was Mikko Koivu otherwise, or like maybe Parise or Gabrick. Like,
Andrew Brunette. Remember him? I think that was his name.
Or who is that? The goalie, Manny Fernandez or whatever his name is. Who's that goalie who's supposed to be like so good?
Love that guy. What a beauty.
But no, Kirill.
Dwayne Rollison.
The bronze pad. I guess that was Edmonton Dwayne.
Those are some ugly times, man.
Minnesota's had a rough go of things. Have you they've never had an elite player.
Yeah, I don't know what these I've loved these expansion teams because I was mini when they came out. Yeah. So I loved all this, and it was just it's so insane that none of these teams are good. You guys haven't done what? How have you guys not done anything
And that explains.
I wonder have they never had a first top 5 pick ever?
I don't know.
Because it seems like Columbus would be the only one for sure, other than Atlanta. I guess Atlanta for sure got lots of bottom picks, but they were nothing ever came out of it.
Yeah, and
ever.
well,
like
and
almost ever.
That's exactly.
And if it did, it was Kovalchuk, and it worked for a little bit, and that was it.
And that's exactly why they changed the expansion rules with drafting to make these expansion teams better. Because how many expansion teams from what was the earliest expansion draft? It was like the 70s, wasn't it? 80s?
Mm-hmm.
Something
well,
like
how
that.
much money have they made off of Vegas being good? Like,
exactly.
That's what you need.
And they needed these teams to be good, but like none of those earlier expansion teams that aren't Seattle and Vegas, they've never been good. They've really never been that great. Here and there, they've had some seasons where they were good. But
the idea was for them not to be good going in. Like, that was like the idea of these expansion drafts were like, these teams will be good. You're paying the price to be good. You'll get actual players, sort of things. The other ones were just expansions for, where we have so many players that could play. So, like, you just pick from, like, there's so many leagues to pick from.
Yep.
Like, so just take these guys. That's why they expanded, like, what was it, 4 teams? So,
Just looking at their draft, it looks like the highest they've ever drafted is, just let me go through the quick all lineup. I think it looks like it's 3 with Marian Gaborik is their highest ever draft pick. And they've had a lot of ones between like 7 to 9. They've had quite a bit of those.
Yeah.
And Mikko Koivu was 6, is the second lowest pick they've had. So that's pretty crazy.
Does that tell you that it's that hard to trade for like a top 5 pick? Like, it's that hard? Like, you actually can't do it.
I wonder,
or have they never even tried?
They probably not try. I wonder, haven't they traded away a pick a couple times? I want to say they have, like, I'm just trying to think of, like, back in the day because what was it in the early 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, trading your top pick in the top 5 pick was super popular to do.
But this was like just starting the 2000s, so
I guess. No, I guess they've never had, like, probably their most successful draft pick though, like for themselves, would have definitely been Koivu, but it might be like a Brent Burns or a Gaborik, frankly, who didn't even stay.
Yeah.
They drafted Darcy Kemper too. That's interesting.
Yeah, hey. It's not that they don't draft good. They only draft good.
They do draft good. They just don't draft great, and that's the issue. They finally
have recently. So they got Rossi.
Rossi, who looks good,
and Kaprizov. You got a couple game breakers here that are actually like, Rossi's gonna be a guy you notice, like Kaprizov. He's not just stand there and kind of not notice him, sort of thing.
It's just with Kaprizov, he was a 5th round pick. Like, name one person who you genuinely thought would have, like, that would have called out he was gonna be good in the NHL, let alone play a game at 5th overall or 5th round. So no, Minnesota's had no luck in that, so they had to keep the first superstar, like Jordan said, the first brandable player they've really had. They had to lock him up.
Since Gaborik.
Since Gaborik, this is the most exciting, and he's better. And exactly, and for all the people out there screaming, "Oh, he's only played 56 games." Yeah, go look at him in the KHL. He dominated the KHL, which is the 2nd best league in the world.
Yeah, exactly. It's 24 or 5 or something.
How many Russians are so good at just coming over? Because the reason it takes so long is because they don't want to leave their hometown. Imagine if, like, Russia was the best hockey league in the world and a Canadian kid gets an offer from, let's say, like, the Toronto Maple Leafs, because it seems like it's every Canadian kid's hockey fan. Or
sadly,
like, but like,
sadly, this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm just saying it would be hard to turn that down, even though it's the 2nd best league. You don't have to leave home.
Yeah,
you get to stay in Canada, get to stay where you grew up playing and know how to play, and you get to be one of the best players in the league if you did that. It's tough for Russians to decide to come over to play in the NHL when they're so good in the K, where they're from. So,
what I was going to say is that this kind of lines up like Gaborik's career, because he was picked and basically 6, 7, 8 years later he was gone. So there's like 5-year contract. Hopefully he sticks around for those guys. Like, I think this can really work out well if Bill Guerin's smart about this. They'll be all right playing all these young guys in the next few years. So I think they can get away with this. We did do the GM, so they could definitely get away with doing this and still
absolutely
field a pretty decent team. But they'll be still in this mix. They'll be always in this mix unless Rossi or Boldy really gel so
I
good
think
with Kaprizov, which I don't see why
one of them
not.
should.
Hey, but it has to happen like right away and
within a season or two.
And this is all just because you want Kaprizov to be happy, you know?
Yeah.
Because if he's happy, he might stay.
If he's happy, he stays, which is huge. Yeah, because he could just decide. Because didn't Radulov do that, where he's like, I don't want to play for Nashville anymore. I'm going back to Russia. Like, didn't he just do that 1 year? Like, he's still under contract.
Yeah, Radulov's kind of one of those guys. That's like,
who just decided like this team isn't good enough.
I'm done.
And
he
just
not
left.
Here anymore.
And
get me out.
So contracts aren't binding, especially if they have options to play in a different league. Like,
he can always ask for a trade, I guess, right?
Yeah, or he can ask for a trade.
Refuse to play.
But yeah, you know what? Let's use that to get straight into Minnesota and talk about how their season will go this year. Minnesota was, I wouldn't say they were busy or quiet. They pretty standard throughout the league. They added Freddie Gaudreau, Marcus Johansson, Alex Goligoski, Jordy Ben, John Merrill, and Dmitry Kulikov. And they lost Nick Bonino, Zach Parise, Ryan Suter, Brad Hunt, and Ian Cole. Chase, how do you feel about this Minnesota team this year?
Like, I feel good about the team. I really do. Like, I like the team in a sense. The only obviously glaring factor is you're still sitting here playing like Rask with Kaprizov, or switching up that fantastic Foligno Ek Greenway line.
Yeah.
Or I do believe I like Ryan Hartman. If he can actually play, like, I'd rather him play in center with Rask, honestly, if he can pull that off. But another guy in Boldy is, man, there's options. There's
so
options for
Rossi,
for
Boldy can make the team.
Yeah, and Rossi wants to make the team. Like, I love his passion for it, and like, it's what they need. Like I said, if Rossi can pop into this team and really get going, and in like a year or two, like, man, this is unreal to have him and Kaprizov together.
Rossi, he's like an extremely light version of Crosby.
Yeah. Just man, he's wild out there a little bit. Hey, like, very fast. Yeah, he's in your face in a sense, but yet he's small, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just because he's there, all there.
He's just working, always working hard.
The forward group is quite lovely. It's just sketchy down the middle. You're gonna have to figure something out. Something's got to work for you if you want to really get to the playoffs. I feel like something's just got to work out pretty good for your center spot there.
I'm pretty. I like this team a lot. I really like this decor. Like that top four decor to me is just so good. It taking a hit. Losing Suter is a hit. But bringing Goligoski, Ben, Merrill, Kulikov, like, those aren't just terrible players.
Yeah,
they're good guys.
Goligoski's
a top four guy.
He's actually been very good.
Very good. In Arizona, too. Like, keep that in mind. He's been good in Arizona. I actually changed my view on this team with Kaprizov signing, because him not being – I gonna bring this up a lot probably this episode, but him not being at camp would worry me a lot. And just getting this team's like energy together. You just need to gel. They need to gel Minnesota. That's how they'll do well. I think their X factor, it's Kaprizov. There isn't many teams where I'll pick just one player or two, but Minnesota's Kaprizov. He's not there. I think they miss. He's there. That I think they make the playoffs. I think it's that big of a difference.
Yeah, his goal scoring ability is
absolutely,
you can't find it anywhere else on this team.
And I mean, I'm willing to throw in the X factor as well, being that decor is very solid. But their demise is exactly what Chase said: center depth. I worry that they don't have a good enough first line center. Whether you play Victor Rask or Ryan Hartman, Matthew Boldy, Rossi, I don't think it's good enough right now.
I see that the X factor, because like, they have to be good. Somebody's got to figure something out there at center, or else I do not believe they make the playoffs.
Yeah, and that's where
it's kind of the sort of thing that I feel towards it. Like, I'm not really sure what the demise would be on this team. Like, I'm assuming just something falling apart, like goaltending an injury. Like I don't really see there is no demise. This team's like look at the past history. This team's always the same team every year. They're good. They're always in the hunt.
They're
this
always
is what they do.
Bubble team. They're the best bubble team I've ever seen.
Yeah, exactly. There's clearly nothing that can just take this team down to the fucking bottom of the league because they've never done it. What did we say? Marian Gaborik was top 3. It's the only pick they've had in the top 5 in the last whatever all their life.
Yeah, and that was in 2000. So that was a long time ago.
They always make sure they have that extra depth. They got Kulikov, Merrill. They've got Jordy Ben. They've even got young guys they could play in Hunt and Addison.
Yeah, like, Addison's
this is hilarious. Like they always do this. They do this very well, and they're guys that can fit in those spots. They're not sitting there complaining about being the 7th guy or something like that. Fiala being able to have him possibly on the 3rd line with like a Boldy and a Hartman or however that's going to play out. Like Fiala can get you some. He's a game breaker when he's playing on a 3rd line.
Yeah, no kidding. Like he
can change a game when all of a sudden he just runs out there on the 3rd line and has himself a shift or two. And
if they play like Vegas and play through their wingers properly, I say, it could definitely make this team a lot better than they are. So where do you guys have these? Oh, do you want? Sorry, you got more numbers.
I'll hit you with some stats quick. Just last year, top 6 production. They were about 18th, a little under low, about mid-grade. Defensive production, they were 7th. I don't really see that dropping too much, hey, with Goligoski as a replacement.
I think that'll maybe
solid numbers, hey.
Might go up from last year.
With a little bit more from a couple guys would be nice.
If Addison and Goligoski are playing a lot of games, I wouldn't be surprised if the numbers go up for production wise.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see Addison play.
So am I.
I don't think he'll ever be a good defender.
No,
but like
that's not what he is anyway.
It won't matter because he'll steal the pocket.
He's a great skater. He's really good at finding holes in the offensive zone.
Let me just tell you exactly who he's going to be. If he can reach his potential, he will be Chris Letang.
Yeah, exactly. He is.
And that's why I'm so upset that Pittsburgh traded him. I like Zucker, and I like what Zucker brings, but I'd rather Callan Addison.
Yeah, exactly. Hey,
he's so
not
good.
Be impactful defensively, but offensively, he's gonna be something special.
But he's still sneakily gonna be all right defensively. He's gonna be really good with his stick.
No, yeah, he won't be bad, just not like impactful, right? Like,
absolutely. He's not gonna be your number one PK. 30 seconds left, put him out there to block a shot. He's not Brian Dumoulin or in better cases like Victor Hedman.
Yeah, thinking about it now, that's kind of made me think about the fact that like maybe this had a good deal to do with Rutherford getting the axe just simply because, hey man, like you actually did find a Letang replacement and you traded him.
Yeah,
like we've been trying to find replacements for these guys for when they're gone. Like they're at that time. It's about time to have those guys.
And they got one guy now.
Them, so
they got one guy in Pierre Oliver Joseph, who has a chance, but he's not as good as Addison. Not even close.
So yeah, they've got lots of options. This Minnesota team, even at forward, they've got lots of random guys to play.
Yes.
So always deep. Power play, not great. 24th in the league last year. I really don't see that changing that much. If it didn't do anything last year, why would it do so much? Like I guess Kaprizov can do.
He can do
better than last year, but like how much better? You have like what? I can see it working really good because you got like Eck and Greenway and Foligno. You can get these guys involved on the first line power play with Fiala and Spurgeon, and maybe you get Zucker out, or maybe you do keep. It's a tough situation there. You just don't have the numbers, but Fiala 23 points in the last 2 years on the power play. Kaprizov was projected for 19 this year, or for an 82 game. Like there's just not great numbers. Obviously, losing Sutter.
Yeah,
like is Spurgeon the replacement, or is Goligoski the replacement, or
Matt
is
Dumba
the replacement, or do they literally play Addison because he can do that?
He can do that. I think it'll go up, but I don't think it'll like make a difference up. You said 24th, and I'm thinking I'm thinking 20th, to like 18. I think they'll.
Yeah, I got them at like
because they're gonna play better.
But like. Yeah, what do you do? You're going to be probably bottom 10 in the
bottom half of the league for sure. I would
bottom half. Yeah, exactly.
I will agree. Bottom half.
PK percentage was 80% last year, so that's respectable, and that brought him into 12th. So that's good. I don't see much changing there.
Maybe a slight drop off with Suter gone.
I have him at 18th, so like they'll drop. I'm thinking maybe a little bit.
But they know what, they added Frederick Gaudreau, who is a really solid penalty killer. He was Pittsburgh's second line PK guy.
Yeah, I have him dropping, but I don't. Yeah, they're mid pack.
They'll be mid pack.
Finish anywhere from 11 to 20 or something like that.
Plus, bringing in Jordy Ben, John Merrill, and Kulikov, all three can play PK and do all right.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm not really too worried.
Your goaltenders aren't just going to be.
They're going to be so good. They're going to be so good.
They should be fun.
Talbot's great, and I think Kakkonen is going to be even better. So before we move on, where do you guys have this team ranked in this division?
Well, I got these guys 20th overall in the league.
Interesting.
6th in the division.
6th
at
in the
number
division.
6.
Wow.
Yep.
Crazy. Okay.
Yep. I have it not working out.
Not working out. Jordan, where do you got me?
I'm going the opposite end. I've got him at 3rd.
Interesting.
Ooh.
That's
nice.
That's high, and I like it.
Tough schedule. They've got a slightly tough division schedule.
Yeah.
Not very tough, but tough.
I have them 4th. I just think they're slightly better than the team I switched them with. Kaprizov signing for training camp. I love. I'm waiting to see these young players come up too. I'm predicting a good season for everyone. Obviously, could be very wrong. I'm also putting them so high because I think they're going to have a really good late push after the deadline, because I feel like they're going to pick up a center like a Ryan Strome or Hurdle or so on and so forth. Yeah. I think they may well go get a center who
no doubt
can help that top 6 and be even better. And someone on a decent contract that they can maybe keep is who I think they'll get. So that's why I have them so high. I just don't see holes really in their team other than center depth, but it worked last year fine, and they were playing against Colorado, St. Louis, and they were Colorado, St. Louis, and Vegas, and they were better than St. Louis at least. So I think they'll be very good. But let's move on to the Arizona Coyotes, who were very busy this offseason. I can say all the ads, they're pretty pointless. But I will anyways, I guess.
What do you mean, bro? They brought in Louis Eriksson.
That's the first name on my list. Louis Eriksson. Yeah. They added Louis Eriksson, Jay Beagle, Antoine Roussel, Travis Boyd, Ryan Dzingel, Andrew Ladd, Shane Gostisbehere, Dmitry Yaskin, Anton Strawman, Connor Timmins, Carter Hutton, and Joseph Korenar. And so
it's a shame they're all past their prime, because imagine these signings if they were in their prime,
like
a
10 years
Andrew
ago.
Ladd.
10 years ago.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and then their subtractions, their subtractions are so good. Connor Garland, Michael Bunting, Derek Brassard, OEL, Osterley, Demers, Nick Yalmerson, Alex Kolgoski, Antti Ranta, Darcy Kemper, Aiden Hill. Holy shit.
Yeah, they made some moves.
Yeah, they made some moves.
Yeah, she's gonna look a little bit different, especially with the Kachina in there.
Oh, yes. Can we talk? Okay, let's talk about bright sides of Arizona first. So, they finally changed back to the Kachina, which is fan-fucking-tastic. This is the first good news I've heard out of Arizona, ever.
And then leaving Glendale.
And yes, and they're leaving Glendale. That's been in the work for a couple weeks now. Are they officially building an arena in Tempe or whatever it's called? Tempe, whatever. Are they officially built? Do you guys know?
I believe that's where they're playing.
I don't know if it's official. I know this next year it's in Glendale. I can't remember if I know they have a site picked for the arena, but it may take a couple years because of.
I know a few days ago, they proposed a near $2 billion arena development in Tempe.
Yeah, and I'm
I don't
pretty
know if
sure
it's like-
where they're putting it, they need to do a whole bunch of like environmental surveys and stuff like that to make it so they're allowed to build on it. Because I'm pretty sure they're using like an old like a dump or something like that. Something along those lines, like where an old building or something used to be. But anyways, Arizona, the hockey team will be bad. I'm just gonna say it. Like, they're gonna be bad. We all know this. We really don't have to go too deep into them. Like, good year for young guys to step up. I mean, you can just hope some of these guys can play decent hockey. Their defense, like Soderstrom and Timmins, hopefully they can come in and play well.
Yeah, my X factor on the team is Soderstrom's growth, because like they've had this guy for a while and they really like him. So if he can excel this year, like, you're gonna be just happy.
My X factor, winning the draft lottery.
That's
well, yeah.
That
sounds like an off-season thing.
Well, it involves this season more than anything, because they have to get a top 2 pick. Have to.
I don't think they have too much worry, because my demise is if Liam Kirk pulls it out to the bottom. So that would be their demise. One of these guys just lighting it up.
And that's just it. Like that's their biggest worry. The only 2 X factors I can think of this team that are important to them is
Chitrin.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, there's some players that are obviously good, but they're not going to move the needle because of how bad the other players are.
Maybe getting another goalie would be an okay idea.
Yeah, but if you're, I don't know, I feel like you just gotta pray to God you win the lottery. Let it go for a year or 2.
Teams.
Let
is that what they're
this
doing?
year
They're
and next year
down
go.
Buffalo.
Yep, probably.
We're gonna have the worst.
We're gonna out bad you, is what they're saying. We're gonna out bad you, and we're gonna get Shane Wright and Connor Bedard, is what they're thinking. Because you know what? If they get one of those 4 guys in the top 2 guys in each of the next 2 drafts, they get one of those guys. Mm-hmm. I think it could change this franchise and is hopes, because they're that talented and can be that impactful on a team. I think that's all they got to worry about, is just getting good draft picks, getting good prospects to build the future around. So
they were good moves to try to be worse, because like you really had to try a lot to be worse than last year in all reality, because you were 13th on the power play, you're 11th on the PK, you were 9th in defensive production because Chikrin's just unreal, and you were 21st in top 6 forward production, which really isn't that bad for Zona. So you made these moves. I have them all down so far for where they're gonna, because it's just not good. But
I have them last.
A lot of these guys, you have them just. Oh, you have them last. I don't think I have them second last. I have them second last. I don't think they're gonna be last, but I think Buffalo. I got Buffalo last right now.
My biggest fear is the goaltending is why they will be last, to me. That's the only reason why they would get last over Buffalo, and the reason I'm actually going to pick them over Buffalo. And I also kind of feel bad for Buffalo. I don't want everyone just to pick them in last, so I'm going to be a nice guy and pick them in second last. This Arizona team just... I don't know, like, I guess it's another hope. Rebuild. Yeah, exactly. I guess another hope is you hit well on your 46 draft picks this next year.
Yeah, like those teams you got picks for kind of fall a little more than you hoped.
They have 8 picks in the first 2 rounds this year. 8 in the first 2 rounds. If 4 of those guys become NHL players, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's huge from a year.
Yeah, that's massive.
But Chase, I know you have a problem with bulking up picks for 1 year, and you don't like when they come out at the same time. And
it seems so dumb. I don't know. Yeah. It's way too much at one time. Like, I don't know what you're gonna do with all this, but whatever. You can trade them. You can't do it like you need to. Yeah, you just keep trading them. I guess, like, I don't know. It's just strange. You can't like actually keep guys then if you do it like that. You're gonna end up moving a bunch of guys. Or,
I think
I don't know. It's just it's weird.
I think they just see how good this draft can be, and they want as many darts to throw at the board as they can. If they hit on a couple, honestly, like you look, Arizona has never
seen anybody do this. That's for sure.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to think.
To this extent,
has Arizona really ever had a superstar as well? Like we were just talking about Minnesota. Like
not really.
They had, what did they have in like the 90s when they won that run? Yeah, the old days they had all those Kachuk, I guess, but
Jobo Cop.
Yeah, like Shane Doan was like very good.
Yeah,
but
I would say Shane Doan. That's the best player in their franchise, really.
Yeah, definitely. It's just
most notable in the last bit, but they
absolutely
had that Chuck era.
But he wasn't there that long, wasn't he? It was JR.
Who was all there.
Roenick was there.
Yeah, there you go.
And they had who's the goalie? I want to say it's Cujo, but I'm wrong. Or maybe it was Cujo. I can't remember who it was. For that Arizona team, but doesn't matter now because they're fucking bad.
That ain't the same team. Yeah, now.
I got nothing else to say on Arizona. Nothing bad, nothing good. They're just a rebuilding team.
They're rebuilding. Yeah.
Can't.
Hopefully, they're doing it right. Hopefully, they continue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. I was always talking about what Louis Eriksson and all those guys are gonna do. I don't think they're gonna play them. I don't.
No.
They have so many.
They'll play a little bit.
They have so many players. Like I feel like they don't.
Andrew Ladd won't.
They might stuff them down.
I know Andrew Ladd won't
save money.
Yeah.
They need to save money, right? More than they.
No, exactly. Yeah. So, and do you guys have anything else, or can we just move on?
No, let's move on.
Let's move on, please.
That's the worst team in this division.
Okay, thank you. I've been wanting to move on for a minute.
Yeah, easily.
Next, we got the Chicago Blackhawks, who it turns out they didn't make a lot of moves, but a lot of big moves.
Yeah, they made some key ones.
Definitely. They bring in Tyler Johnson, Ujar Kara, Brandon Hagel, Jake McCabe, Seth Jones, Caleb Jones, and Marc-Andre Fleury. And they lost Vinny Hinostroza, Pui Suter, David Kampf, Brandon Peary, Duncan Keith, and Nikita Zadorov. Jordan, you want us to kick her off? What are you thinking of this new look Chicago team?
Yeah,
sorry to cut you off right before you're about to talk. Technically another ad, Jonathan Toews, because he missed last year. Go on.
It's obviously they're wanting to push harder. They reshaped or retooled their rebuild.
Absolutely.
It's interesting, right? They paid Seth Jones.
Yeah.
So whether that trade for Boqvist is going to pay off, we'll have to see.
Yeah.
I like Seth Jones there. I like Seth Jones. I don't like Seth Jones for that amount of money.
Yeah.
But I do see Fleury being very, very good.
Yeah, understandably.
Yeah, their goaltending should be pretty unstoppable.
So I do think that in terms of what they're hoping to do, which is obviously kind of knock a year off of their rebuild, essentially.
Yeah,
I think they did it good.
Yeah. What I can say is Chicago is the Philadelphia Flyers of the West. They sucked on defense, so they fucking made it clear that they're trying to upgrade it with McCabe, Jones, and technically Jones. On paper, I look at this team. I'm like, this team is the top team in this division, like top two without a doubt. How are you not with Taves, Kane, DeBrincat, Kurashev in the mix there, Doc there, Strome? They bring in Seth Jones, and I mean bringing in Tyler Johnson, Jake McCabe. Those are not just bottom guys. They're very good middle six kind of guys, and they didn't lose anyone too bad. I mean, Pui Suter, I guess, but didn't sound like they wanted to keep him. I wonder if there's too much turnover in Chicago that I'm a little worried about this team. And
that's my worry, right? Is like, obviously as an organization, throwing 10 players out to the Wolves and then bringing in 6. It's interesting, yes, but does it click? Yeah,
my biggest fear, my demise for them is kind of chemistry, in the sense of if they don't gel right away, if their defense does
finding the right line.
Yeah, exactly. And I think their offense will be fine because it's always good. They're gonna score without a problem. I don't know.
They got Patrick Kane.
Exactly. I don't know if they did enough to keep the puck out of their net, because Fleury's. This is the worst defensive team Fleury's ever been on. I'm not saying that he's gonna be bad, but he might not be Vezina Fleury what he's been for Vegas.
He'll face a lot more shot.
Vegas made him look better than he actually was because of how good they were defensively at times.
Yeah. Well, I feel pretty confident with Pietrangelo and Shea Theodore in front of me.
Exactly. So that's my biggest worry. But like their X factor, like I just mentioned, is scoring. Oh my God, they're not gonna.
Kane is good.
Yeah, Patrick Kane will score 100 points this year without a doubt in my mind.
Yeah, no doubt.
I really think he, with what I think, and how many points? Do you know how many points he gets, Chase, on power play, typically? Per season, do you have those?
His whole career is 28 points.
Yeah, and I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets like plus 30
insane.
plus points on the power play. He's amazing. Taves' back is huge. It's huge.
Yeah, I mean that's their captain, right?
They will be within 5 points of playoff spot, if not in playoffs for me, for sure. But
put it this way, their PK percentage was 28th last year, so he's gonna probably help that. Like, geez Louise, that's rough. Same with like TJ. You got TJ and stuff in there. This is gonna be much better PK unit.
Brandon Hagel to play on that PK.
Defense that's
it's the defense. And
like they're my X factor and demise. Like to me, the D needs to gel, and I think they'll make the play if they can like somehow gel and just play real well, and it just works with this team. I think that they can make the playoffs. But I have them just fighting Seattle here. Like oh man, is it so hard to figure out who would be taken over to me? But like power play was obviously so good last year, 11th, and obviously going to keep doing that. I don't have them moving anywhere there. Like,
right.
Yeah, their scoring is unreal. It's that top 6 is going to be ridiculous again.
Top 9. That top 9 is
hopefully that third line exactly can make something happen.
I don't see how it couldn't. It's going to be a mixture of somehow like a Kurashev type, Tyler Johnson, and like I mean maybe it depends on what type of line you're going to go for, obviously, whether it's a scoring line or a defensive line as your third line.
Yeah,
but they got options.
There's so many guys.
Many guys to come in. Yeah, Jordan, what do you got your X factor demise and where you'd put them?
Yeah, no, I agreed with you that the demise is definitely going to be that chemistry, right? Especially on the defense, just making sure that they can gel, making sure that they know what they're doing. That's pretty huge.
Yeah.
As for an X factor, it's for me, it's Taves, right? Like,
yes.
What does Taves bring back with him when he comes back into this lineup?
Absolutely.
Obviously, his skills as a hockey player, but he brings so much more.
Well, and I wonder, too, are we getting back the 70 to 80 point Taves we've got in the past couple of years?
Right.
Or are we getting back, where is he going to slip again, where he's down to 60 points-ish?
Yeah.
Like, what Taves are we getting?
What kind of Taves do we get? Exactly.
I think we will get the 70-plus point Taves. I really do, with how good offensively they are. But we'll have to wait and see. I got this team actually just missing the playoffs at 6th. The only reason I don't think it'll work this year for Chicago. I just have a bad feeling that the chemistry won't gel right away. But the following year, I think they'll be a top 3 team in this division without question. If Fleury either stays or they can bring in another
or
goalie.
lack of 9 and maybe steps up even more.
Well, I think they need another
he was pretty
goalie.
Good.
He's good, but that's why I'm saying I think they need another goalie who's equal or better than Lankinen. Just
exactly. It's really hard for me. Like, I have these guys finishing 5th in their division, right ahead of Minnesota.
Yeah,
I have Minnesota in 20th. I have Chicago in 19th. I have Seattle in 18th.
Yeah,
I have all 3 of these teams fighting for that last wild card spot. As a matter of fact, my next team in the west side here is in 17th as well. So like, I have 4 teams just fighting for these last 2 wild card spots.
As do I.
I have trouble not putting the Hawks here because, in all reality, as the season goes on, they will only get better defensively with chemistry. Nicholas Bodine possibly stealing a good role and pushing DeHaan down or something like that.
Right.
This could really, the defense can change and evolve very quickly, I think, especially with the young guys they have and where they're at in their careers, like Mitchell, and still, like, these guys have played games, they've been around a little bit, they're ready to take on some roles. You even have Jones, you have, well, I don't know much about Regula or anything like that, but
he looks pretty decent.
Yeah, he looks pretty good. So, like, yeah, if any of these guys can kind of play with Jones and get DeHaan on the third line, and you got McCabe and Murphy work well.
Yeah.
Not that I love McCabe. Maybe you push McCabe down or something like that. But
he definitely upgraded their decor, though. That's for sure.
Their decor is not terrible, but yes, people have to kind of step up, and
they need to play their roles.
Just kind of needs to work. So
yeah,
I have them at 5th and missing the playoffs. I'm taking Seattle, man.
Interesting. Wow.
It's hard to do this because Fleury's acquisition, that makes me feel like there's no reason why they can't take the step over. But
that's exactly the player I look at, and I'm like, that might change where they be.
The only way I see them making it is if maybe Vancouver stumbles and bumbles, and Seattle or something like that gets into the 3rd spot.
That's where I'm at too.
Chicago kind of pulls up and gets that wild card.
Yeah, absolutely. I have them fighting right there. I just think, like I said, I think they're gonna have a slow start, and I feel like they won't be able to catch up quite enough. But I do think it'll be within 5 points of them missing tops. Yeah. Jordan,
and just like the luck clearly hasn't been there for him the last few years, so I'm just not going to give him the luck. That's kind of like this is how I'm basing it, because I don't really know. This is such a fight between all these guys.
It's going to be so close. But Jordan, where did you have them ranked in yours?
Yeah, I've got them at 5th as well.
5th?
I completely agree. I think that they're going to start a little bit rocky, and I do think that might hold them back from where they will be likely next year, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's move on to the next team then. We got the Colorado Avalanche, who made a lot of questionable moves. I know Chase is very skeptical about this team.
Very skeptical. Not really.
They added Mikhail Maltsev, Darren Helm, Ryan Murray, and Darcy Kemper, but they lost Carl Soderstrom, Matt Calvert, Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, Brandon Saad, Jonas Donskoy, Ryan Graves, Connor Timmins, Patrick Nemeth, and Philip Grubauer. Chase, you want to start her off with this Colorado team?
Yeah, so sure, I guess. Obviously solid last year. Their power play and PK, or 8th, both in PK and power play, which is kind of trippy.
I didn't know the PK was that high, actually.
I thought when he got like,
I thought their PK was.
Donskoy.
Well, I just thought their PK was like 10 to 15, not 8.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, super good. So in the top of the league there last year, basically. Forward production, obviously, of their top 6 was the best in the league last year. Defensive production, even last year, was 9th in the league. So only look for like that probably to even go up.
It'll go up. It'll go up. Gerard and Makar are going to have monster years. McKinnon's pissed off. He's going to play great. If Rantanen's healthy, fuck, he could score 40, 50.
Yeah, exactly. Like when we did our defense things, like I have their defense at 3rd. So, like,
so good.
Yeah, this is going to be a force to be reckoned with. We've already talked about it a lot before. Like Murray and Johnson on that bottom line is just beautiful. And you can swap around whichever way you want to deal with Gerard, Makar, Taves, and Byram.
Yeah, it'll be Taves, Makar, probably Byram. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Byram Gerard or Byram Johnson or Murray or something. But I guess we'll see.
I see the power play doing just as good. I have them ranked 3rd.
Yeah,
I think they're going to be just crazy awesome. I don't think that can
score 30.
They didn't lose anything on their power play one, which is good. Makar the last couple of years have been getting 33 points.
Holy shit!
On the power play in an 82 game.
That's unbelievable. That's so
McKinnon,
unbelievable.
Yeah, that is crazy for
30 points as a defenseman. As a first 2 years as a defenseman. That just shows why he's the best in the league already.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. And then you got like McKinnon. The last 4 years, he's gotten 37.
Yeah.
Averaging 37.
Like, come on. He's so
career-wise, he's been 26. Last year, he was on pace to have 42.
Mm-hmm. I believe it.
That's pretty nuts.
So crazy, man.
Mm-hmm. Ratnan's had 29 points over the last 5 years.
And that's been injury-riddled seasons with it, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, crazy.
Kadri's even been at 15 the last 2 years. Like, I believe he stands in front of the net or what?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he's a net print guy. It's either him or Landeskog in front.
Yeah,
but actually, exactly, I think Landeskog and him both play in behind the net and in front.
Yeah, exactly. Hey,
and then
McKinnon hitting 23 points the last 4 years. So
yeah, and then McKinnon floats, and he likes to end up in that pivot spot.
Yeah.
Top slot.
Yeah, no, it's just a gross power play, so don't look for that to dip. I'm looking for the PK to dip a little bit, but nothing too bad. I think they'll just so Minnesota, like how I did my gradings was I gave them an A for being in the top 10 and a B for being in the middle and C for bottom 10.
Makes sense.
So I got them in that middle range, but I have them in the high middle range. Like they'll still be up there. I don't think the PK will drop that much. They're at 83%. I can see it going like 82, 81, just because of the loss of Saad.
Yeah, they do have some really good depth. I don't think it's going to matter
that much. I think other teams will just be better on the PK almost in a sense.
Right.
I don't think it's too bad.
Yeah.
Obviously their forwards are super good. Goaltending's great. Not so great. I don't know, in like tier 1 or tier 2 or something. They're more of a tier 3-ish.
I got something on goaltending, so
yeah.
I got an opinion on
that. We'll go ahead, hit it.
Yeah, well, like you just said, this offense to me, amazing. Defense, amazing. And I've been umming and ahhing about this goaltending situation all offseason when they did it, because I was like, really? It seems weird that the Vezina finalist, Philip Grubauer, had a fantastic year. This is the best by far he's ever played. He was so good, and they let him go. And then bring in Kemper. I think that's an upgrade. Because, yes, he's got injury problems. So does Philip Grubauer. He has in the past. This past year is the only year he's ever been healthy. If Kemper can just be healthy, I think he'll be better. I remember, I don't know, Jordan, if you remember this, but when we were talking about World Juniors, the Olympics.
I remember we were pegging as number 1.
I put Kemper as the goalie to be in with Price and Hart. That was my 3 goalies. I don't see why he couldn't be that good. Watching him for Arizona, he was their best player these past couple of years.
I do like him for the 3rd spot in that Olympic team. Hey,
I really do. If he's healthy, I think he will make the team. It's going to be between like 5 goalies for Canada.
Yeah,
and he's one of them. It's probably Kemper. I guess 6 if you want to count Blackwood, but I don't think Blackwood will get a sniff this year. But it's probably going to be Kemper, Price, Fleury, Binnington, and Carter Hart are the 5 goalies you'll pick from. 3 of those for Canada. So I think Kemper's going to be great. This Colorado team, I got their X factor being just everything. Realistically, it's everything. They're going to be so good. But I got their demise actually to be pressure. As in the sense they're kind of they're starting to get to that point where we're like, where we got with Tampa a couple of years ago, where we're like, okay, this team should have won or at least been close by now, like a cup final appearance. Come on, like
I don't know,
take
man.
a step. There's a lot of pressure on them this year.
I think everybody's been jumping the gun on this team, and I don't like that everybody's just win the cup the last 2 years. I told these people to their face they're not going to win the cup. No way. There's no way they win the cup. I just had no feeling whatsoever that they were going to win the cup the last 2 years. I didn't think they were ready, and they clearly showed they weren't. And this is a step back to me. Like, I don't love their forward group as much, missing those couple guys. Like, their forward depth is their X factor to me. Like Jost, Comfer, Majuskin, new guys in Newhook. They got that O'Connor. They've got a couple other guys and Bowers, and somebody's got to do something pretty flipping awesome this year, or else you're not gonna be like as epic as you were. Like, they really got to become good players. to me.
I think that Maltsev will be a sneaky
him,
good pick though. Good player though. Sneaky good.
I have him in the lineup. Like, why not? Hey, like they've got a lot of young talent, but it's a lot of young talent. It's not you know what you're getting out of these guys every game sort of talent. So that's the only sketchy thing I kind of have going. I think if they're bottom six, forward depth basically kind of settles it out. I think it's fine, but I don't have them getting first in the division. I have them getting second, and I have them third overall in the league.
Crazy. Holy sh! You have a Central team getting like second in the league or first in the league? Jesus. Wow. No, I got them first. Without a doubt.
Yeah, I've got them first too.
Nathan MacKinnon's gonna have an unreal year. He's pissed off.
Yeah.
Nathan MacKinnon's pissed, and that's amazing for this Colorado team. He plays better when he's frustrated. So
and Cale Makar can only get better.
Exactly. And a full season, hopefully, of Cale Makar. Like, come on, forget about it. They're gonna outscore every team they play, even if they have some struggles here. They're gonna score probably 3 goals a game for the most part, like at least.
Yeah, that line's madness.
They're so good, and they're like they are just when that top line and that top D line is out. No matter who they play, they're better than, like as a whole, because they are. They got the best defenseman in the league, Makar. Devin Taves is like the best partner you can have, being a top guy. Nathan MacKinnon is probably one of the most terrifying forwards to come defensively at you or attacking wise, so both. Rantanen will score at will. Landeskog's mean as shit. That top line is just crazy and gonna carry them so far. And like I said, I think Kemper's gonna have a crazy good year.
I think so too.
So, Jordan, any X factors and devices on this team?
No, I mean I'm pretty much in agreement with you here. Like I think the X factor for me is just Nathan MacKinnon. Like,
yeah, he's that fucking good.
How motivated Nathan MacKinnon? Because we've seen how competitive he is to begin with, and now you add this motivation. Like, where does he go in terms of playing ability?
Yeah, absolutely.
Essentially, how close to McDavid does he get? Because that's the top bar, right?
And to me, like I tell people this all the time. The number one player in the league is Connor McDavid, without question. Second is Nathan MacKinnon, but he is half a step back away from McDavid. Like, that's it. He's not far off from Connor McDavid because he brings in so many different intangibles with him, with his, like, so powerful in skating, hitting, just along the boards. You don't need... When you have a Nathan MacKinnon, you don't need someone like Zach Hyman to go get the pucks out, because McKinnon's going to end up doing that. Like, it's nice to have it, obviously, and every team wants their star players to be available for a shot or in space, but that's why that line works so good, is because Nathan MacKinnon's everywhere and he's faster than everyone, so...
Yeah. I just feel like she's going to be a bit of a rockier trip this year than it has been in the past. It's not like it's going to be bad. Like I said, they're still going to be third overall. So in all reality, they're just still going to be the best team in the league.
Yeah.
I have 2 teams in this division just get going nuts this year. And Colorado is one of them. It's just, I'm not really sold on the team yet for the playoffs. I'm interested to see how the rest of the playoff or the rest of the year goes. Who can step up, like I was saying, and who they're
going to bring in.
Acquire.
Yeah, because they're going to probably bring in a big player at the deadline. Like I mentioned for Minnesota, what if they brought in someone like a Hurdle, a Strome of some sort, or maybe a D-man like a Nick Leddy if they really want to beef up that decor. There's so many options for this Colorado team. I think the sky's the limit, realistically. I probably have them like first or second in the league. There isn't many teams I'd put over them, if any. Are you guys good to move on from Colorado?
Sure. Yeah. They have a pretty good schedule. They get to play Zona in Nashville 4 times. That's fine.
Yeah, so that's dope. Those are the 2 worst teams.
4 wins or 8 wins.
Yeah, exactly. So let's move on to the Dallas Stars. A bit of a quieter season, but they added in exactly what they needed. They brought in Luke Glendening, Michael Raffle, Ryan Suter, Yanni Hakanpää, and Braden Holtby. and they lost Jason Dickinson, Andrew Cogliano, Julius Honka, Stephen Johns, Mark Pissick, Sammy Vatanen, and Jamie Alexiak. I'll start this off with Dallas. This team is going to be way better than they were last year. I will start off with that. They're going to be
as long as they're healthy, right?
As long as they're healthy, but that's exactly why they're going to be better this year. Tyler Seguin's back finally, and I think he's going to have a really solid year. I wouldn't be surprised if he scores 30 goals and gets like 70 points, maybe even more. I want to know what these lines are going to look like, because I want him to play with Robertson, and I just want him to feed Robertson.
Do you have projected lines?
I don't have projected lines, but off the top of my head, I got some off the top of my head. But you go.
Okay, cool.
What's your lines?
Well, I have Sagan and Robertson together with Pavelski, then Ben, Hintz, and Gurianov, and then I got Kiviranta. I don't even know if they would put Kiviranta, but Kiviranta, Faska, and Radulov. So
wow, that's
maybe bring Radulov up.
Gurianov. That's where I'm thinking. Maybe you switch a little. Want to do her. Exactly, it's all how it goes. And maybe if you want more like defensive capabilities, you move Pavelski down, move like Ben up or something like that. There's tons of stuff, but to me that sells me on this team is this decor. I love this Dallas defense. I think that's their X factor to me. Not surprising. There's a reason why a lot of people look at them and they're like, oh, they're the Islanders of the West. At least that's what they used to be called. I just love what they brought in. Heiskanen's amazing. Klingberg's absolutely sensational and on a contract year. Lindell's really good defensively. Suter's great. And then they got Hakanpää and Hanley. And they got some other young guys.
Thomas Harley
coming up. Yeah, that's the D-man. That they got really good defense and so many goaltenders. They have 4 goalies who can play if healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
4 good goalies. Yeah. So
you could say I ranked them in the top 5 of goaltending.
Yeah, no kidding. Because
how do you not?
You have Hudobin.
Somebody will play, right?
It'll be Hudobin and Holtby for the main part of the season. And then I assume Ben Bishop's done playing. That sounds like the general consensus around the league that he's going to retire or after his contract anyways. And then they also got that Jake Ottinger in net who looks awesome, and he played so good last year, and he'll get tons of games playing in the AHL this year, which is nice. I got nothing but good things to say about this team. My biggest fear is it's not even really a fear. Like it's I guess goal scoring. Are they in depth scoring? Are they gonna score? Is their depth gonna actually score enough for them? It's my biggest question. I'm not saying it's impossible one bit. I think they'll be fine, but they need to score their depth. Other than that, they're just gonna be a good team, and they're just gonna keep the puck out of the net the whole time to win a lot of games.
Yeah, my X factor on this team is special teams. These guys are pretty madness on special teams.
Yeah.
Well, last year their power play was 5th, but their PK was only 19th. So
PK I have their way better.
Yeah, I have their PK at 5th this year. I have their power play at 6th. Like the reason, like technically, if I kind of grade them, they are ahead of Colorado, but I kind of brought them down just because obviously it's been such a rough road for these guys. Like obviously this isn't going to go smoothly. Why would it? It's the Dallas Stars, you know?
Yeah.
So, but like the demise to me on this team is going to be the young guys here and the not young guys, Hintz, Robertson, and Gurianov.
The sophomores.
Those guys can keep playing like that. Yeah, exactly. Those guys can keep playing like that, man. This team is insanely dangerous.
Yes.
Like I said, like ranking these guys, they can definitely be number 1 in this division. I just don't think it's gonna exactly play out that way. They have a good schedule, I guess, in a sense. They could play Zona in Nashville 4 times. That's kind of decent. Only have to play Colorado 3 times.
That's amazing.
Always try to stay away from those guys as much as possible.
Yeah, no kidding.
But yeah, like you said, like number 2 defense in the league. Like this team is unreal. As long as they can stay healthy, this is going to be so much fun to see these guys tear up the old league. I'm sure they'll fall apart a little bit, but they'll get back up and keep going.
Yeah,
they can make a move with like one of these goalies. That's why they got these extra goalies, and probably move one of these guys at the deadline or something and beef up the bottom 6. And that's all you need to beef up.
Get a first from Edmonton for one of those goalies.
Honestly,
I wouldn't be surprised if Hudobin goes to Edmonton. I really wouldn't.
Yeah, no doubt. Especially after playing a bunch of games and stuff like that. Like,
and
that may be what they're just doing right now, is just playing Hudobin and Holtby just to sell whoever
plays better. Yeah, whoever someone wants
sense,
that
honestly
brings in the biggest haul. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I got them 3rd in the division, and they're finishing 5th overall in the standings.
Crazy. Wow.
Yeah, I got this top 3 teams in the Central just lightning.
Jesus, that's crazy. Yeah, I got them 2nd in this division. I think they're gonna steal a lot of points. I think last year they played very well. Couldn't win in overtime to save their life, but I think they played very well, and they didn't have Tyler Seguin, and they didn't have this decor. They had a lesser known decor than this. So
if they have a perfect season, I think they're first in the.
Yeah, if they're healthy, I think they're gonna dominate the league and do awesome. So, Jordan, what about you? What do you got on this team?
I'm not sold with this team.
Yeah, I figured
I
you
haven't
weren't sold on this team.
on Dallas for a while. I don't like how old they are and how injury prone they are, especially. So I've got them at 4th.
Okay.
For me, the X factor is obviously health.
Yeah, they need to have a healthy season.
As well as that, though, guys like Rupe Hintz stepping up, I think he's going to have a massive season this year. I think he is a guy to watch out for.
He's awesome.
Oh, he was pretty unreal last year.
Right.
Yeah, man.
And I think it's only going up with him, because I think with these guys getting older, their minutes are going to have to start coming down, and they're going to have to start leaning on other guys for that, right? And he's going to be the first guy they call upon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was basically their number 1 centerman last year, eh?
Well, yeah, exactly. Right? And he's gonna have a less role this year playing behind Seguin, which is good for him. Which might be good. Like less matchups against the McKinnons of the world, the O'Reillys and such. So I think this is definitely going to be a good year for Rupe.
Yeah, now he's going to get the 2nd-tier stars to work around, and as well as that, the really defensive centers, which can only help his game.
Yeah,
hopefully. You have to play against the best in order to be the best. So,
yeah, I will definitely see Rupe have a good year.
I definitely love this team.
Demise, though, like I said, I think it's the same as the X factor, health.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm not sold on this team being healthy long enough in this season to.
You weren't last year either.
No. I just feel like it's not going to be nearly as bad as last. Like they have the COVID stuff.
Man, I'm not sold.
I actually have a somewhat good feeling about the Stars actually being somewhat healthy. May not be perfectly healthy, but they'll be good enough healthy is what I think. I don't think can that happen again. And the other reason I think they'll do so good is exactly because they are so old. It's go time.
Plus like
very big seasons for Pavelski, Radulov, and Ben here. So, and obviously Sagan just to get himself back going.
And that's
like I said, if these young guys can keep her up, like I think, how do you stop it?
Yeah.
How do you stop it?
My thought process going through this is they got better this year with their off season and with how good they played last year, and Tyler Seguin didn't play all year. What did he play? Like, I think he played like 5 games or something like that at the end.
Exactly. He did not play much.
And he played great in those 5 games. Like, the team looked completely different. It's such an important... Like, people don't realize how important your best player is until you don't see him on the ice all the time, right?
Yeah, I mean,
and Dallas saw it a lot last year. And they had the problems in Texas last year with the storm. They had COVID problems. Like, it was a shit show for them the first like month to 2 months of the season.
Yeah, you could say them in Vancouver really got screwed. Them in Vancouver got
screwed by the whole what's going on. So I think you can't be that unlucky again, and that's why I have both those teams. I just realized how high I have both those teams now. I think they're just going to perform way better because they underperformed so much last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm ready to move on next. You guys good?
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Next we got the Nashville Predators, team I am not fond of. They added very little. They brought in Cody Glass, Philippe Myers, and Dave Rittich, and they lost Eric Howla, Brad Richardson, Ryan Ellis, Luca Spiza, Eric Gudbranson, and Pekka Rinne. Jordan, you want to kick this team off?
Yeah. Despite the limited ads, I do like the ads. I mean, Riddick is literally just going to keep the seat warm until what's his name is ready.
Saros.
No, not Saros, the younger one.
Maznek or something like that?
Yeah. What's his name? I'll go find it.
Anyway, yeah. I think Saros is obviously there to stay, but I don't see Riddick being there to stay. I think he's just kind of going
to keep that goalie. Yeah.
The Vamaka? Thomas Vamaka guy?
No, they're the recent draft pick. Holy shit, why can't I think of the name? That's pretty bad.
I really like the addition of Matt Luff. I think what he adds is quite underrated to their depth core.
Yeah.
But obviously they lost a lot, right? They lost, I would say, 3 huge pieces. Rinne to retirement.
Askarov.
Ellis and Arvidsson.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, Askarov. Forgot about Askarov.
Yes, indeed. Those were big. Yeah, they lost key guys. Ellis for Myers doesn't.
I think they've kind of settled on the direction of this team. It's rebuild time.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, hey.
I fucking hope so. I'm done with that.
Yeah, I wonder who they trade from here on, or what they move exactly, or do they just kind of hang out? Like, I love how I have it set up, having like Tomasino and Tolvanen in like the top 6 or something like that. Sounds like a lot of fun. Tolvanen is pretty damn good. I'm really excited to see him take on like basically the offensive role with Forsberg there.
Yeah.
These guys are basically just going to play like they have no centerman in between them anyways. So just look for those guys to do basically everything.
Yep.
You got that, like they keep that Janot guy because they wanted to
Tanner Janot
play him. So Janot, yeah. So I don't mind the balance on the forward group. It's just obviously it's not outstanding. Like you need Johansson to be an 80-point guy or a 60 at least point guy. You need Duchesne to be at least a 50 guy. You need Granlund to be a 50 guy. Yep. I'm not worried about Kunin and anybody else getting the points that I think they should get, but like, yeah, it all really relies on your center, and your centermen are so key in hockey. If they're not doing everything on both sides of the puck, you're not winning games.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And the defense, me, a big thing is going to be just scoring, right? Like this team historically sucks at scoring.
Yeah, Roman Yossi's been their leading scorer for the past 6 years,
right? So is bringing in, I mean, I guess not bringing in, but giving more minutes to a guy like Tolvanen going to be enough of a scoring boost?
Yeah,
right. Because I guess he's going to be like their best scorer.
Yeah,
Philip Forsberg. Philip Forsberg is still a really good player.
But at least on the depth end, right?
Yeah.
So he's going to have a hell of a season if they want to contend in any degree, as well as Saros has to be incredible again.
Incredible,
like unbelievable again.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, and like, well, honestly, like the Ellis loss was kind of not great, but like
it was
Myers
coming.
Is a pretty it was coming, and the Myers addition kind of. It does decent defensively. It's not horrible. I don't know. It's your defense. I don't hate it as. It's definitely a little bit of a downgrade, but I feel like Fabro's going to do better. I think Fabro kind of closes the gap. Is kind of if he plays better, I think he'll play better.
Yeah, he really has to, huh?
I don't think it'll hurt too much because, like we've said, like these guys chose to protect like 17 defensemen in the expansion draft. So obviously, like, who cares? Like, we'll just bring the next guy up if he's not doing anything. And Carrier or Allard, like, there's
they do develop very good defense.
I'm not really thinking their defense is much worse. Like last year's stats, they were 16th in defensive production last year.
My biggest fear with this decor is it's worse, and that's their best part of their team. Like,
exactly.
But their forwards didn't get better.
That is why I have them out of the playoffs. That's for sure. Yeah. Because exactly, like, your defense, you can argue, is not as good, especially if guys don't step up. And your forwards don't score. Your top six forward production was 29th in the league last year, so you're not scoring goals. Your power play is 23rd. Your PK was 29th last year. Like, these are terrible, terrible stats here. So
they're just not.
Yeah, I've got this team 7th in this division for that reason.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, same. 20. I have them 25th overall as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have them real
down there.
So do I.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain that it'll be Arizona and then them.
There's I look at this team and, like, I don't hate. There's no really real reason why I hate this team. I just don't like their GM because he should have been working towards this more rebuild earlier.
Yeah.
Last year, last year's a fluke. They even made it in. Like,
didn't need to do the center. Did not need to do those center trades at all.
No,
did not need to do that.
It's just, I don't love this team. They don't score enough for what I like from a team. And like, their defense is very good. I just don't see them performing well. I really don't. I think it's just this team. Yeah. It looks like a puzzle that people just start putting the pieces together, but without matching where it's supposed to be. Kind of, to me, like, there's so many pieces I look on this team where I'm like,
puzzle that you put together, but like it's the wrong picture. Like, all the pieces fit, but like,
exactly,
the fucking picture is not right.
Exactly, like, it just it looks like a Picasso painting for. It's just bad.
It's so weird, man.
So many different types of players, personnel in this team that don't work together, and I just don't. I've never cared for their management as much. They draft defensemen well, and that seems to be it. I guess goalies they've done pretty decent on with Rene, Saros, and now
another one of these franchises that never got anything.
Yeah, but they've not gotten a single forward who was like
substantial.
Exactly. And they're just boring to me. Yeah. They're like Minnesota before Kaprizov.
I was gonna say they're like Minnesota, but really bad.
But without Kaprizov, like, if he had gone back. So I'm not sold on this team. I think UC Saros is phenomenal.
Yeah,
he's not gonna do enough for them. Like, there's very few goalies who can actually will their team to the playoffs, and
you'd have to be like a prime Brodeur to do that.
Yeah, he's just not quite that. But even Brodeur needed help, is what people forget. Like, these best goalies in the world of all time, they needed a decent decor in front of them. Still,
they had real defensemen in front of them.
They did, for sure. Everyone. And
did Luongo when he went to the Boston final?
Oh yeah, Vancouver's one of the best teams in 20.
They had Edler, but I can't think of who else they had.
Was BX still there?
They still had.
And who was there? And Edler was a number one guy, but
no, Edler was the number one guy. Yeah, he was
at least a top pairing guy then.
Did they have Willie Mitchell still when he was
something like that?
That was when he was just.
I'll find it. Well, if you guys want to still talk about Nashville,
I mean, I can. Bring
up so like, no, like I'll bring up the Nashville. Some of these older draft picks like Radulov, Hornquist, Arvidsson, David Legwand, Colin Wilson, Craig Smith, Kevin Fiala.
Oh, Dan Hughes,
Scotty Hartnell.
Yeah,
those are your forwards you've been drafting that are of note.
To answer your question on the decor, Yeah, it was pretty solid. They had a young Chris Tanev. They had Sammy Salo, who was very good then.
Sammy Salo. There you
go. Dan Hamhuis was very good that
Yeah.
season. Christian Ehrhoff was very good. Edler, obviously, and they had Kevin Bieksa, Keith Ballard. Like, they had a very strong decor in that Vancouver team. But no, this Nashville team, back to it. They're just. I hope Cody Glass has a good year. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I have high hopes on this
Golden
kid.
and Cody Glass are my two.
Yeah, I totally forgot about him. Man.
Yeah, I hope he can have a good year. Just hope you start finding guys who can score. Hopefully Tomasino can score. Hopefully Tolvanen can. Hopefully Glass can. Hopefully Duchesne and Johansson can maybe like do better than they have been.
Yeah, they should be able to make three decent lines.
Yeah, they have low expectations. I'll give you that. Like, if they do better than 7th to me, then they in this division, then they had a great year. Or other two teams just had a terrible year. So I guess we'll see.
Hey, if they weren't in such a tough division, like if everything could ever go right for these guys, God, they'd be good. But it's just not gonna happen.
I don't think any division they'd be good in. The only division I see them potentially making, but that's because I think every team that isn't named, is Pacific. And the only teams I think that are impossible is the Buffalo, Detroit, and Arizona. Those are the 3 teams I'm pretty much are guarantees not to be good in that division. But I'm good to move on if you guys are.
Yeah.
Okay. Next we got the St. Louis Blues. Didn't do too much, but a lot of key movement. They added Brandon Saad, Pavel Buchnevich, and Matthew Pekka. And they lost Tyler Bozak, Mike Hoffman, Alex Steen, Jaden Schwartz, Sammy Blais, and Carl Gunnarsson.
Well, didn't they re-sign Bozak?
I guess they did. Sorry, I wrote this before, so scratch Bozak. They re-signed Tyler Bozak.
Yeah, league man wants to win another cup with the team, eh?
Yeah. So yeah, that they didn't. Like I said, they didn't do a lot. They added some key stuff and lost some names. Looking at this Blues team, I love most of this team. I love the makeup. They seem like they're going to be pretty solid this year. I think they had a bit of a down year last year.
Yeah,
but I'm just going to say it right away. I am not sold on this goaltending one bit. Not one bit. I don't hate Binnington. And people, like, when I talk about the St. Louis goaltending, I'm like, it makes it sound like I don't like Binnington at all. I don't think he's as good as he's obviously not as good when they won the cup that year. That year he was phenomenal. But it's unfair to expect him to do that again. But that's what St. Louis needs, is him to be that level of good again. I
have a better feeling about the defense kind of working a little bit better.
Yes, I agree with that.
A lot better than
I think he'll look better. But that's why I'm saying I don't think they're a top team because of that to me. And Ville Husso is pretty bad. His NHL stats,
fine, man.
He has been terrible in the NHL.
Well, he's hardly played in the NHL.
He played last year as the backup, and he lost so many games for them. He was so bad, so he needs to be better. Needs to be better. He had a 3.2 goals against and an 8.93 goals save percentage. Like, that's awful in 17 games. Like, I get it. It's not many games, but if they want to be better,
so good. He has been good in the A. So, like, I know I'm not sold on it, but
his numbers in the A, I look like his highest save percentage. Like, he got a 0.92, which is very good in 38 games. But other than that, he's only gotten a 0.909.
He's
not been outstanding. It's sketchy.
Super relying on Binnington, that's for sure.
Yes, big time. And I don't love the full faith in Binnington like that. He needs some breaks for him to be good, in my opinion. So that's where my fall off of St. Louis. I guess you say that's my demise of St. Louis. However, to give them lots of credit here, their X factor to me is they have probably one of the best depth in every position but goaltending. Like, they are so good. I really like looking at at this Blues team and seeing the fact of Zachary Sanford will probably be your third, fourth liner. Like Tyler Bozak's probably your third, fourth line center. Like, and it's very defensively sound. Another fear I have is the Tarasenko issues. I hope that doesn't bleed into the dressing room at all or cause any of his team issues.
What I think about what happened with Sanko, I think it was just sort of management thing. It was like, hey, I heard you guys were talking about trading me for like the last 2 years. And they're like, it
was more injuries.
And he was like, well, screw you, man. Like, what the hell? Trade me then. Get me out here. You want to trade me? Then trade me. So he played that card is kind of how I think he's been doing it. And like, obviously didn't get traded. Nobody made any moves. He has no beef against the actual team.
No, I'm not saying that.
I think it'll be fine. You know, like I don't think it'll kill the locker room or do anything kind of weird.
I don't think so either. I should be fine, but there's still the scenario of he asked for a trade and he's still there. That doesn't typically sit well with a lot of people. And he wanted a trade because he didn't like how the management handled his injury because he's constantly had a nagging shoulder.
And
so that's why.
In Buffalo, I know.
Yeah, no kidding, hey? 2Ps, those guys.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I just don't even see I don't even see a spot for him in the top 6 here. Like, I don't even know if I'd play him in the top 6, having Kyrou looking the way he was last year. Like,
yeah, you just play the best team
it down and play him on the third line. Maybe that's where you go. But
that's what I'm saying with the depth.
I love
is
the
you
mix
can
of
play.
Players.
Yeah, you can play every single line, and it's going to perform well. It's going to be strong defensively, and it's going to be able to score. They're not going to wow you with goals. Yeah, you're going to have 3 great lines. They're not going to wow teams like by scoring a lot, but they're going to be so hard to play against.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
tough to play against. So
I think they will wow you a little bit more than they have been, just because Kyrou stepping in. And
yeah, maybe.
I think he can. I think he can get lots of points.
Yeah, if he can take another step forward. I remember watching him in the World Juniors, and he was the best player on Team Canada. Like talent, offensively, talent wise, he was so good. I if they can all take that step forward again, the players, some of these young players that need to, and this D-core can like gel the way they're supposed to, no issues with the team. And I frankly, I don't have issues. I just think they're going to slip in some games here and there. And I have them being 5th in this division, but I have them making playoffs as the 5th seed. So I think they'd be good. Just maybe slip here and there.
I have them 4th in the division. 17th overall, so they're that team, and I was talking about that they're all fighting for that 2 wild card spots. I have them winning it because of their division schedule is a little bit nicer, and the depth that you've been talking about is so unreal. Their power play last year was 6th. Their PK was 25th, but I can see that doing a much better with the likes of Sod. And like I said, I like the defense to gel and play much better than it has in the past with Krug and Falk. It's just been kind of like off-putting in a sense or something like that. I don't know. It's been just kind of strange. I think it'll just play better. So obviously the power play is going to be another 4th. I'm very surprised they were as high as they were last year in 6th. Don't see really that changing too much. It'll be a little bit different.
I think they'll drop
to get over.
I think they'll drop on the power play strictly with other teams being better. I don't think they're worse. They're just other teams got better on offense.
Yeah, I have them at like 13th on the power play and like 17th on the PK. So I think they'll improve PK wise. This team's great. Yeah, it's sketchy with the Bennington side, but
it's just the unknown in that. Like Bennington's either gonna be great or he's gonna not be good. Like he's very good and bad goalie.
I worry that they're gonna lean on him too much, and
that's what I'm worried about too. That's why I think they're gonna slip in a lot of games. But their depth will help them win.
Simple trade's not too bad.
True,
you know, like they can make something happen there.
As of right now,
exactly.
They haven't made that
trade, but it hasn't happened, so I can't really
can't judge a trade that hasn't happened yet. So.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, you're judging Colorado getting
but I already have them being first without. I did, but they're already first. I think St. Louis will upgrade if they get a goalie, but right now they're fifth to me.
Yeah, no doubt. Montreal goalie and Charlie Lindgren, is the only other guy that looks maybe playable because he's older.
Right.
So yeah, they don't have much depth at the old goaltending position unless
they can take Casey DeSmith if they want.
Yeah,
I just want an older guy.
Yeah, I wonder what they'll do here. Like, where's their cap at? They have no cap left. Like,
maybe at the deadline they make a move for the Dallas goalie, like we were just talking about. Maybe they get a Holtby, bring him in. If they brought in a Holtby, like, or something like that, just to be backup, I would feel so much better about this team.
Yeah, exactly.
I just think they're gonna lose a couple games in like a losing streak, because the goaltending is shaky at that time.
Yeah, the team's really gonna have to play well in front of these goalies. That's for sure. And I think they will. And I think they will
fine. Too. That's why I have them in
playoffs. Or first wild card spot.
Second wild card for me. Yeah, Jordan, do you have anything else on this St. Louis team?
No, not really. I mean, I'm not sold with it, so I guess it's just a wait and see.
And like the reason I have them is like I just looked at as like changes in the lineup. Brandon Saad for Jaden Schwartz, I think that's better. And then Pavel Buchnevich for Mike Hoffman, I think that's way better. So their offense seems to have gotten
Schwartz
better.
Is even.
At least even.
Buchnevich is definitely an upgrade.
Yeah, Buchnevich is an upgrade for sure. I like this decor has got to do better than it did last year. Like it has to. It can't be that bad. Because on paper, it looks like it'll work fine. Like, Krug and Parayko look like an amazing pair on paper. Like, why shouldn't that work? It gives Krug all the freedom to do what he wants on the ice, to skate around.
Yeah, and they have young guys that are going to step into that last spot that you don't need to worry about. And Jake Wallman or Nicola, you can play there. I think they have another guy I don't really know very well. But, yeah, no, it should really round out. Scandella can get us lots of minutes too. Like I don't know, it doesn't pop off the page.
It doesn't the pop old defense, page, but I think it'll do decent.
I think it'll do just way better.
I would like one more D-man on the St. Louis team to feel more comfortable. But other than that,
I'd like Scandella to be somebody else, or Falk to be maybe somebody else, or like I don't know. I'd like to maybe swap something out that way, but I'm not really sure.
Yeah,
it's probably more of a Scandella, or just bring somebody in that's better than Scandella to play in the top four.
But when you're talking about a minor upgrade on defense, it really isn't going to cause too much of a rift. If that's your like point of contention where you're struggling is a backup goalie and maybe a better middle six, bottom six defenseman, like that. If that's all you need, then I think you're good. You're so good on depth, and they'll be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move
look
on.
for Kyrou to be a big part of this team. I think
absolutely
huge.
Let's move on to our final team. We got the Winnipeg Jets. Pretty quiet offseason for the most part, but they did bring in Riley Nash, Brendan Dillon, and Nate Schmidt. And then they lost Trevor Lewis, Matthew Perreault, Marco Dano, Derek Forbert, Jordy Ban, Tucker Poolman, and Laurent Brossois.
As well, they've just waived Sami Niku for contract termination.
Yes. I forgot I heard about that. That was weird. I'm confused about that.
I guess it's just the fact that they have nowhere to play on.
I think he wants ice time, and I saw it was mutual. It was a mutual termination, so it's...
I don't think it'll cost them much beyond just losing Sami Niku.
Yeah. Hey, St. Louis, why not D-man? Get Sami Niku against a division rival too. Like, so why not? But no, this Winnipeg team, I really like this Winnipeg look.
I loved the additions of Nate Schmidt and Brendan Dillon.
Yeah, so do I. I really hope they can do better on Winnipeg, and I think they will. My biggest fear with this team is who is going to play with Morrissey to make Morrissey better, because that was Tucker Poolman last year. And
I have a feeling it's going to be Brendan Dillon.
Yeah, I don't know, because they're both left-handed, so I don't love that. It's probably DeMello, hey? If you're looking at it.
I'd say DeMello I'd probably say DeMello or Poink. Like, I don't know. People expect Morrissey to get a lot of points, so
yeah, I don't love Pionk and Morrissey. I feel like that's same player on the line, and you want Pionk. I feel like you want Pionk, Schmidt, and Morrissey all spread out on the line.
Exactly.
So to each have a puck-moving guy, and then you got Stanley, DeMello, Dillon to fill out the rest. I think DeMello will play with Pionk. Dillon will play with Pionk,
Morrissey,
and DeMello with Morrissey.
Yeah, I like that.
And then probably Nate Schmidt and Logan Stanley is what I think. And that sounds really good.
Yeah, it is. No, I love this.
I love the look of it. Yeah, I think this team has probably the best top 9 in the NHL, I wonder.
Yeah.
It's top 3 for me, just with having Kopp and Lowry as your third line. That's unbelievable. They were so good last year. And they brought in Riley Nash, who isn't, I know he's not a big name. He's going to be a really good fourth liner for them. And they got Christian Vesalainen stepping in too, Paul Stastny. Pierre-Luc Dubois is going to have a better year. Like, he has to.
Hell yeah.
Everyone just
my
looks
demise
good.
On the team is PLD, because, like, obviously, in my eyes, if he doesn't, if he plays again kind of off and has another off year somehow, it's not, that would be their demise in my eyes.
I just don't see that happening. Like, I don't see him having 2 bad years. Like, he seems like the player that'll just be able to pull himself out of it. So
I can see a very big year for this guy. Like, I have this team at number 1.
Yeah,
like, they're getting first in this division, because I think he's gonna really not take the reins or anything, but he'll be what they need him to be.
Well, he'll be their first line center for game 1.
And I think and I think their bottom 6 is their X factor. Like, I'm a little worried about it, just because I'm not really sure how it'll play out.
I'm more worried about
it's fine, because you have Lowry and Kopp.
They're so
exactly,
good.
Exactly. So
whoever they play with will make them better. They'll make them better. And I watching that Harkins and that Toniato last year, they were pretty good. For what they're bringing, solid. I really liked Harkins. With how he played.
Liked Harkins.
I think he can definitely play well in this. And then obviously,
fourth line.
I mean, for me, their X factor is Connor Hellenbuck. It doesn't matter how their defense plays; they got Connor Hellenbuck, who's the greatest goalie, second best goalie in the league. And probably the MVP of a team, if you're looking at where they would be without a player. If you take out the best player on each team, who would be most lost? I'd probably say Winnipeg. With Hellebuck.
Edmonton.
I would rather go Edmonton's offense right now without McDavid than go with Winnipeg without Hellebuck. He's so important to letting that defense be better. Like, his defense still isn't great.
Of a better defense.
Yeah, he's got better decor now, and I got them third. I think they're gonna have a very good year. I think they're gonna be comfortably in third, though. I think there's gonna be a big spread between 4 and 3, but not as big between 1, 2, and 3 in this division. I think Colorado, Dallas, and Winnipeg are gonna do really, really well in this division.
Yeah, exactly. I have Winnipeg 2nd overall, Colorado 3rd overall, and Dallas 5th overall. So I have all 3 of those teams just lighting it up this year. So that's why I have some teams a little bit lower, because they're playing those 3 teams 4 times and stuff like that. And it just, if I have them ranked so high, like, geez, it's going to be a tough year for you.
Yeah,
sort of thing. Kidding. But last year, this team was just no defensive production. They're last in the league. Second last, maybe. I don't know. Either way, that's going to obviously do much, much better with the additions. That's why I think this team will push over the edge, especially with Dubois doing a little bit better. Because, like, they were unreal defensively, technically. Like, their PK was 13th last year, which is pretty unreal with the team that they had. But their special teams were so good. 7th.
Derek Forbert had a very good year. Logan Stanley had a very good year. Tucker Pullman had a very good year.
Yeah, exactly. Forbert was pretty flipping solid for
amazing.
those guys.
And Neil Pionk last year was outstanding. Like he was definitely like a massive. He was so important for that.
Yeah, huge boon to this team.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think with the defensive additions, it's going to be easy to be so much better. And with Dubois stepping up a little bit, like you said, like your top nine's just gross.
Yeah, it's simple with this team, right? Like they're extremely similar to their team before, which is good because they were good, but they made their one weakness stronger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I remember Jordan and I last year on the podcast, we were screaming at Winnipeg, just this is your year. Upgrade your defense last year.
Yeah.
Because they were in a bad division who were gonna make playoffs regardless. Make it better so you could go on a run. And
I'm actually happy you brought that up because like I love the fact that they didn't do that because I'm so sick of seeing these teams do that all the time. And like the best thing they did was clearly nothing. Like that was a great idea not to do anything. Like, yeah, they could have done a little bit and yeah, they may have been able to do something in the playoffs, but like in all reality, this made everybody better.
Yeah, it did. It made Logan Stanley push for that spot, and he's so much better with it.
Yeah, and now you
give him a good partner too.
Right? Yeah, you use those picks.
Dylan DeMello.
You could have gave those picks away at the deadline. You know, use those picks to get guys you actually want that were available at that time. You know,
you got a better understanding of what you for sure needed to bring in. Absolutely, with doing that. But this Winnipeg team, they just got all the right pieces in the right places to be a playoff team, and
they're good.
They're gonna score so well too. I look at like just the four guys who I think will be top scoring, in Connor, Scheifele, Ehlers, Dubois, and then Blake Wheeler
I'm so
up there
excited
too.
to see Nick Ehlers play again.
I know he was amazing last year.
Like
he
was
only get better, so good. He was one of the best players in the North Division last year. Like he was absolutely fantastic.
When he's on, he is so fun to watch.
Yeah, he's so hot when he's hot.
And him and Pierre-Luc Dubois are gonna probably play together this coming year. And that's gonna be so nice.
That'll be a partnership, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm just excited to see that. And though I guess a small downside is like the backup goalie is downgraded. It's like the only thing they've for sure downgraded. And losing Appleton, that's another player I forgot to put with losing him in Seattle. That's a pretty bad loss. Losing Appleton. For that third line.
Yeah, it'd
so
be really
good.
Nice to have him. That's
this team would be like, I would probably put this team in second if they had Appleton. Like that small of a difference, I think could maybe get them a point or two above Dallas. But
like to me, the reason I have them in first is because like the way they played last year, like it wasn't really great. You didn't have like the best defensive pieces. This and that wasn't going well. Like I feel like it's gonna be almost simple to be able to be like way better than that. And you were already so good last year, so
yes, I don't know, maybe and people had down years
and stuff like that. Yeah, people having down years and whatnot.
And they were still second. They were second, right? No, Edmonton got second, I think, because they passed them late. But whatever, they were third, and they played.
Yeah,
well.
No, it's just
they swept Edmonton, so.
It's going to be hard to have a bad year, so I see nothing but up for this team. So that's why I put them all the way up. So hopefully they have a great year. And it's a regular season, right? Like they're going to be trying to have a good regular season. I don't know if Colorado cares that much about the regular season. So
I don't know. I feel like I've been hearing a lot more teams are getting invested in the regular season, trying to like work out playoff kinks in there. That's what Tampa was doing apparently the past couple regular seasons. They went all out. They went all out regular season,
and they got like so many flipping points, and they were just unreal. That was the most magnificent thing I've ever seen.
Yeah,
but you learn from stuff like that.
You learn from that. They realized, maybe instead of just trying to light people up, we should just play better defense. Like instead of trying to go pull people up and pressing, like just play shut down. Learn how to shut down.
Yeah, you like create an aspect of your game. If you do all that, all of a sudden that's just like a weapon in your.
If you're already good enough to make playoffs, and you don't care about personal accolades, which a lot of players don't actually care about personal trophies. They think it's great when they get it, and if they're in the hunt, they're going to keep trying, obviously.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, everybody's going for a Stanley Cup.
Everybody wants to win the cup. You're going to do anything possible to win that Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
So you work on stuff
the
that
only
you need
reason
to
they
do.
want the only reason they want to get a certain amount of points is because they know they'll be
for money.
Their team will actually do well if they
that too. Yeah,
are doing that.
And to get paid to get what they think their value is a lot of people get paid based on points, based on just points. So,
yeah, no doubt.
So that's been our preview of the Central Division. Did you guys quickly want to go over where we had everyone exactly ranked?
Do you want me to
start? We'll do the whole. Should we do the whole West just because now we're technically done?
I don't have them in full league positions. So
okay, whatever.
Just division. So Jordan.
Well, I don't have a full West either.
My list goes the Avs at 1, the Jets at 2, Wild 3, Dallas 4, Chicago 5, Blues 6, Preds 7, and Arizona 8.
Nice. Yeah, I got pretty close. I got Colorado first, Dallas second, Winnipeg 3, Minnesota 4, and St. Louis 5. Those are my 5 playoff teams. And then it's 6, Chicago, just missing out. 7, Nashville, 8, Arizona. And then my 3 playoff teams in the other division would be Vegas, Edmonton, and Vancouver. If Vancouver signs their RFAs soon.
Indeed.
Doesn't look likely, so I might change that to Seattle by next episode. Because that was a big factor in me choosing Vancouver, as they'd have these guys done.
Yeah, who'd have thunk it? Quinn Hughes and Peterson are pretty important for the team.
Just a little bit. Talking about not having an important player like Dallas did the past year.
I hear the talks are going pretty well.
I'm hearing
much about it.
I'm hearing Hughes is pretty well close to done, and that Peterson's not too far, but might bleed into after training camp.
Wow.
So that's what I'm hearing. Bridge deal for Peterson, long term for Hughes is what I'm reading out there in the Twitter sphere.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
no.
So I guess for
sorry. Go ahead. My bad.
For my what is this? The Central Division.
The Central Division.
Winnipeg at number 1, Colorado 2, Dallas 3, and St. Louis 4, who end up getting that first wild card spot. Big gap in between 3 and 4, like in overall standings from 5th to 17th. So after that, missing the playoffs at 5th is Chicago, 6th Minnesota, 7th Nashville, and 8th obviously Zona. And then on the Pacific,
the Tempe Coyotes.
Yeah, exactly. And on the Pacific side, I got Vegas, Edmonton, and Vancouver getting the division, and Seattle grabbing that last wild card spot.
Oh, I just can't see the wild card going in the Pacific. That would blow my. I think that's a hot take, honestly, for you to have wild card in the Pacific. Oh,
I know. Hey, I know. Hey, well, you got teams that you can beat in there. I feel like you might be able to get an extra few points, and all these Central teams.
I don't think they're
St. Louis, Chicago, and Minnesota are going to fight each other enough that they might not get that extra few points.
See, and I think they're playing.
I feel like this will be within 1 or 2 points from St. Louis, Seattle, Chicago, and Minnesota. I literally think they'll all be within 3 points.
I like the idea of thinking
4
they
points.
might beat up on a division like some of these teams in the Pacific, but I just feel like when they don't play their division, they're gonna struggle a lot. A lot of these Pacific teams that aren't basically
Seattle.
Vegas.
I don't think so because
I don't think they're gonna necessarily
struggle.
I don't think they're maybe not necessarily struggle, but they're not. I don't think they could be as good as pretty much anyone in the Metro, other than maybe like Columbus and New Jersey. And the Atlantic, other than the 2 bottom teams in that, I think Ottawa can compare with Seattle in a series. It's 2 games. I think Ottawa can take a game for sure, but I don't know if they can do that against let's say St. Louis or maybe even a Minnesota. I don't know if Ottawa can do that, right? That's just where I see like the extra wins in the Central that they won't get within division. I think they will get other places. Same with the Metro and so on and so forth. The good teams still beat up on the bad teams.
I was struggling between Chicago, Minnesota, and Seattle for that last spot.
Absolutely. I know it'll be close.
I think they can at least fitty it out when it comes to these other teams in the league. Yeah. I really do. I think they have a good enough defense and goaltending and stuff like that. Like,
in my
even
prediction,
having a good backup could really help those sort of.
In my eyes, I look at where if you just got to pick 8 teams in the West and 8 teams in the East, I almost wouldn't have Vancouver making it too, and I might have Chicago making it over Vancouver. Chicago, I think, might get more points than third place, that 6th place team in the Central. I think will get more points than that third place in the Pacific. I don't know. I just see
sold on that.
I'm not sold on it, and I don't think it won't be by a large margin by any means, but I definitely think that's a possibility. A high possibility. But
I don't know. I don't mind the Pacific. I know I thought it was strange to have the 4th guy in there as well, but I can see a Vancouver or Seattle kind of falling apart a little bit.
Just at some
needs
point
to happen
in the season.
A little bit.
Exactly. They don't need to be bad the whole season. Yeah, they don't need to be bad the whole season. They just need to have 2 weeks where they're not up to par, which is definitely possible looking at those teams.
For sure.
Yeah.
But before we end the episode, I did want to talk about Buffalo and the Jack Eichel situation, because it's starting to heat up a little bit. Not necessarily in trade talks, but just in drama, and it's funny listening to Buffalo drama. But what happened yesterday, Jack Eichel failed his physical, so he was stripped of the captaincy. And I just wanted to talk about this situation because I had a thought process with it, and I kind of mentioned it to you boys before the podcast started, so I may reiterate it. If I started thinking about stripping the captaincy and how teams only do that if they trade away the player first, right? They're already on team. They did this before the trade. If you're going to end up trading him, why do you care what surgery you have to get him? Why don't you get him whatever surgery he wants and is proven that it works, and then trade him earlier so he's got more value? You have more leverage if Jack Eichel's healthy and ready for training camp, or at least almost ready for the start of the season.
That's a good question.
Well, it's just, we all knew he was being traded this year. This whole situation boiled over. Yeah, he doesn't want to be there, and why don't you just give him what he wants and get your assets that teams are holding back because they're unsure about the surgery? If you show he's fully healthy, why don't you trade? It just doesn't make sense to me. You're not going to have the player anyways. What do you care if he gets hurts his neck again in 2 years? As your franchise anyways. As a franchise, you don't have Jack Eichel anymore. Doesn't matter if he gets hurt for a different team. That's where my thought process went. So I kind of wanted to discuss that with you boys and see what you guys thought on.
That's a very good point. I don't really have an answer.
Can you poke holes in it? Because I'm kind of hoping one of you can poke holes in my why did.
Yeah, I don't know. This whole Eichel thing's ridiculous. I don't know
is ridiculous.
Why or what's happening right now, but
it's taking far too long. Maybe not for the trade. I get the holding out on assets, trying to make a deal. Get him healthy.
I don't understand the surgery.
The more you wait, the less valuable he gets.
2 months ago,
yes,
and we'd all know what's going on.
It should have been done longer than that ago. Realistically,
I don't know how it benefits anybody dragging this along. That's what
I don't know.
I feel like it's a huge fail on Buffalo just dragging this on. The surgery part, the trade can you can do whatever you want. They do it all the time, talking about Duchesne getting traded for 2 years. But
I'm just trying to think: is this just a dick measuring contest right now? Because it's starting to feel that way. Like, Kevin Adams and Jack Eichel are both trying to show how big their dick is right now, and like, oh no, I want it my way. Well, I want my way. Like, get the fucking surgery. Just give him the surgery, Adams. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I'm so sick of all this. It makes absolutely no sense.
It doesn't, and I just wanted to bring that up because
like the surgery is probably going to be like, not even probably, it's like almost guaranteeingly going to be okay. Like if people can punch each other in the face and deal with this, like I'm pretty sure that's going to be okay. When does Eichel even get in fights even in the first place? Like, what do you think's going to happen? Like, I don't understand.
When have you ever seen Eichel get even lit up by a hit?
Yeah, like,
I don't think I've ever seen Eichel been actually crushed by a hit where he's gonna even, like, if you were to fall on his back or something. And it's been proven the surgery works. It's fine. And my biggest worry, or the stupidest part about it is, do this surgery. The doctor who does those surgeries said, if it doesn't work, you can redo it, or you can get the fusion in the end. Anyways.
Yeah, if it doesn't actually
work, you can still get the fusion. It doesn't. It's not a one or the other. If this doesn't work, he's screwed. You can get the other surgery, but if you fuse it, you can't get the other one. I just don't. Yeah, exactly. I don't understand why.
Yeah, it's weird.
They care. Just get as many assets as you can for Jack Eichel and move on. This isn't healthy for your team.
Yeah, it's not a reality show.
No, like, nobody wants this. People just want it to be, and like I said, I understand if he's not getting the value he thinks is enough for Jack Eichel. Fine. But the reason they're not giving him the value he's asked for is because there's a big intangible with the health. Just get him his health and then trade him.
One or the other, right? Trade him or get him healthy and then trade him.
Exactly. Like, it's so frustrating because it makes so much sense if you just sit down and be like, look, the reason you don't get what you want is because he's not healthy. How do we fix that?
The dumbest part is they could have had the surgery like a month or two ago already.
2 months ago, and he would be ready for training camp for his new team.
Yeah,
he'd be ready for training camp. Super. So, I don't
just
understand.
Taking the whole year off. Just take
exactly.
The whole year off.
He's gonna be taking the year off. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't play. Like,
he'll play the last like 20 games or something like that, or 10 games or something like that. Just to
and it might, but it might not even be in the NHL. He might go overseas or something, or play in like a different league for a year, like what Nylander was doing for a bit. Like, he can sign a year contract somewhere if he's not. I maybe he can't. I guess. Yeah. I don't know how
all of a sudden everything goes amazing, and Buffalo
he'll be able to at least train.
He wants to play team. On the team. Yeah, like, this doesn't make any sense. I'm so rattled. Like,
I'm so rattled, and it's just like the whole. And now he's stripped him of his captaincy, which is so unnecessary. Because
now there's bad blood for no reason.
Well, he's not the captain. We know this. We know he's getting traded. We know he's not going to wear the C. We know he's not even going to be in the locker room again for Buffalo. Why bother? Are you planning on giving it to someone else in Buffalo?
I don't think anybody knows what Buffalo's doing anymore.
No. Like, I had faith. I had faith in Adams this year. Like, he seemed like this offseason, I thought he would do better. But he's really starting to screw himself. He's screwing himself and his team. Like, just get this over with and move on. All Buffalo fans want is to just move on. As much as they hate Jack Eichel gonna be traded, they know it's inevitable now. They want to see what they're gonna get, and hopefully they can become something. That's just what you gotta do. So I just wanted to rant about that a little bit because it just makes no sense. It's the stupidest decision, and it just feels like they're like having a dick measuring contest and trying to show that no, I make the call. It just sounds like that, and it's pointless. Get the guy what he wants. Get him his surgery. Doesn't work. Get the surgery you want and trade him. Just
Simple as
trade
that.
him. That simple. And the worst part is that's what's going to happen down the road. Oh, we're going to give him the surgery. They're probably going to end up giving him the surgery he wants. And in a couple months at some point. And then they're going to be like, well, shit. Maybe we should have just agreed to this and gotten rid of him when the hype was so high. Where every team was trying to make room to get Jack Eichel. Like, teams have already wasted some of their cap space for a Jack Eichel move now. So
yeah,
out.
Exactly. Now
so
you're stuck doing it next year.
You're lowering, yeah, you're saying, oh, that's not enough. Well, more teams will come calling. They won't because they don't have cap space. Unless you're going to take on
you're not making
awful contract.
Like, who are you making this move with during the deadline? Like, it's or halfway through the season.
Who
it's
can bring on $10 million?
And the Rangers are going to have to pay people next year, so they might not even do it. But they're really the only ones that would actually probably trade for them.
And if they do that, they have to pay Fox.
Maybe Calgary.
And maybe, but then you have to throw in a Lucic at least in the deal, and probably
deal.
Yeah, I don't see any really team that makes sense for him to go to. LA, I think, is the only team that could financially do it and are trying to make a push. I mean,
I vow to never talk about this again until he gets traded. The old Eichel. This is dumb.
Yeah,
hey,
it is dumb. I just want to talk about the situation and him getting stripped and just come on. We haven't talked about it for so long because we've been just waiting for the trade. But
we've been waiting for some sort of news or something.
Some sort of news. Just do it. It's not that complicated, and you don't need to overcomplicate it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, after this, I'm done with this. Whatever.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm moving on. Waiting till next off season. Like, honestly.
Yeah. No, I agree.
If it happens, then I guess it'll happen.
Yeah. Yeah. If it ever happens, then great. If not, well, we were waiting for nothing then. But that's all I have for this week's podcast. You guys got anything else to finish off on?
No, I think that's everything.
Pretty good, hey? All right. Well, that's been this week's episode of the podcast. Catch us next week as we'll be talking about the awful Metro Division. I'm already dreading it because I still don't know where I'm going to put my Penguins or where I'm going to put any team for that matter. But oh well.
Yeah, I super hate this division so much.
It's gonna suck. But so be it. Find out what we decide next week on where we rank them. Go follow us on social medias on Twitter, Instagram, and follow our YouTube page. Even if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, go follow our YouTube page. I know at least Chase and I are going to be doing some extra videos on there. Some small fun segments and all, so go and check that out for us. That'd be really appreciated. But for now, we'll catch you guys next week on the Metropolitan Division podcast. Bye, guys.
See you next time.
See ya.